Hello. We are back with the ESEA season number 37. I'm T-Time, joined by none other than Michael Yumi Cassidy. Michael, we're pretty much midway into the season so far, and I've got to ask you the same thing I ask you every time. How the hell are you doing, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, halfway through, and we've already gotten to see some nice separation. Maybe not in the group that we're covering today, but there is some separation. I think we were just kind of talking during the break. A team has kind of surprised us how well they've been doing recently.
Well, look, we can talk about our group later on, but Michael, I like to take it slow. I like to ease people into it. So let's take a look at the standings for the entire league first and foremost. We can maybe have a little bit of chit-chat, cup of tea here and there. But yeah, so the team that obviously staring right at your face is Sinners, was sitting 5-0, Michael. And like you were mentioning, we were talking about this off camera, and what I'm most impressed by is that Sinners have not just come through 5-0 at the beginning. You might be thinking, yeah, but they'd probably be, I don't know, like Izako Boars or... Sangals. Oh no, actually, they've beaten all of the major players who you'd expect to be able to come out on top over them. Yeah. They've taken away Anonimo, who of course recently made it to Flashpoint, the RMR. They've taken out Movistar Riders with Smooya. They've taken out Endpoint, previously of the ESL Pro League. They've taken out AGO, who we ourselves have seen how strong they look. And finally, they've taken away Sprout, who are always a contender in any of these ESEA Premier seasons. So quite an impressive run so far.
Yeah, I think our Group A's and Group B's are the other way around. But yeah, within that Group B, they are kind of shaping up to be this flawless contender and flawless runner to top out the group, which is exciting, I think, for a lot of people. I think that region hasn't had too much of representation as of late. And so, familiar names re-entering, we talk about Oscar all the time. And that's always a very exciting prospect. So yeah, it's good to see. But then we move into the Group B's, or the Group A side. And, there's a little bit less clear cut. I think coming into it, not many people have expected a player like Sword to do quite well. They've had their ups and downs, but we've seen them restructure as of late. And then Big are in kind of a struggling period. So they're sort of middling out the table. It's good to see a new look Force, though, being so successful.
Well, look, Michael, there might be a couple of things inconsistent over here. I'm not sure if maybe we got it slightly out of date, because for my money, I believe that Big might actually be sitting on 4-2 right now. Yeah, so they lost when not quite kept track of it. Don't worry, guys. This is why you don't gotta trust us. You don't gotta trust me. You don't gotta trust Michael. The only thing you've got to trust is the website where you can check out everything. That's esl.gg/ESEA Premier. Because sometimes the broadcast will lie to you. Sometimes the casters will lie to you. There's so many teams. There's so many matches. How can we know? And that's why you go down right there, click on esl.gg/ESEA Premier, and that's where you can go find out all the standings, all the statistics, all the shenanigans. And that's what Michael uses, which is why he just knows everything.
Well, it's also why I'm keeping up with things. And it's a good way to tune into things. Of course, we're not the only stream running. There's a B stream as well to tune into any of those other games. The team we're talking about, Sinners, they have a game as well on that B stream. So you can maybe tune in on it over to that. Just it's a little B, add it to the end of the URL up top, and that should get you there. But our game, I think, is what we're kind of excited about. Of course, we highlight Big as a contender coming into this, and I mean, we actually got the schedule for all the games going on, but you get to see just how much is happening all at once within the ESEA Premier. So many moving parts.
So many moving parts indeed. It doesn't even show all of them. We still have the fifth game as well, which I'm sure we'll flick to in a second, which is being streamed over on the B stream. All the other streams are also available. Everyone can go tune in. There's a lot of community streams as well. You can go find all of those here and there. Actually, 6 games. Wow, I didn't even know about the 6th one, Michael. Even Movistar and Gamer Legion, that should be a good one too. But right here and now, this is where we've got to talk a little bit more about Big versus LDLC, because it's time to stop running about and start getting to it. Big not looking all that fantastic this season. We already knew how stacked the European division is, but the fact that both Forza and Saw have managed to take out series from Big so far, although not entirely surprising, is definitely something that German fans will be dreading.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well where we've seen what the highs of Big look like. Of course, it was only last year where they brought in new additions to their roster. It was a new look. It was very exciting. And it was around this time as well where we started to see Big skyrocket. It's where they hit top 1. It was towards the end of June last year. That was, I think, a 3-month period where they were just kind of uncontested in that region. And it had a lot of people excited because you look at Big as this very well put together, very structured, well thought out team, and ever since that stint, they haven't looked quite the same. That summertime madness hasn't struck again.
Well, listen, Michael, you're talking about summertime madness. We've got to talk about days of glory past when it comes to LDLC. And I know I'm saying days of glory past, but ever since their new lineups come through with the additions of Mark and Kios, I really rate this team pretty damn highly as a solid upset team. I don't know if they're ever going to be the type of team who'll maybe make it to the big events, but they're definitely the kind of team who's going to make you feel really, really sad by beating your favorites in a closed qualifier. And that's who LDLC is to me. Marka and Kios are two such fantastic young talents. Marka can be a bit over-aggressive with the ops sometimes, but you can definitely see the skill there that I believe was in Heretics, of course, initially when they were topping out the RMR charts last year in Europe. Kios as well, new addition over from K23, from an international lineup into a French lineup. Communications looking solid for him, and his aim was always on point. You combine all of that together with Haji sometimes having some big moments. This is actually a very strong firepower and general potential lineup when you consider and add to the fact that, hey, they've had IGLs like Alex, like Existence in their score in the past, and some of that structure remains.
Yeah, and we've seen LDLC go for these highs and the lows. We've seen the ups and down periods. But a lot of that has come through a lot of roster moves. When we talk about these IGLs, lots of them have been acquired by other teams, left for other reasons, maybe even trying to find solutions for this LDLC camp. And you're right to highlight these new additions in Maka and Kios, because even before, even with this core, they seem to have kind of enough firepower on paper, but sometimes they miss some of that additional flair in the late or mid rounds. And now you have the fact that you have a strong AWPer as well as a rifler to try and get and elevate yourself to that other level where sometimes you might just be able to completely brutalize your opponents.
It's also the kind of team that really the French scene, for my money, is always needed and is really, really going to benefit from right now. You've got three veterans, a lot of experience among Sixer, Haji, and Lambert, obviously going back to the old Envy days in 2016 and whatnot, when some things did also start to go downhill as well. But even for Sixer, from way back from beyond when, and you combine them with these two incredibly high potential individual players on this French side, this is just an age-old formula for Counter-Strike success. I would not be surprised to see LDLC really managing to tear through these entire season, even maybe make top 6, top 4 in the playoffs, but whether or not they can actually take down the monsters that Gambit, big, not Gambit, but big and pretty monstrous as well. And one of the reasons why it's going to be Sirsen. Michael, ups and downs recently, but I feel like Sirsen's definitely always someone to keep an eye out for.
Oh, one of my favorite players on the big roster as well, because he's one that they definitely changed the meta when it came to last year. So lots of teams acquiring the Scout over and over, and a lot of that I imagine is inspired by Sirsen's explosiveness on that particular weapon. Very budget friendly, very, very oriented in that respect, but willing to take risks and play very positionally. He is a joy to watch when he is hitting his shots, and within the season, he has been doing quite well. Xantares and Sirsen, I think, rank among the top 3 or top 5 within this season's statistics. So that's always a good sign as well for Big. A lot of the win conditions do reside in those couple of players. And I know it's harkening back to a period so long ago, but when Big are at their best, Tizian and Tapson are also right at the forefront of that. Tapson, of course, used to be a star player, but he's happy to give that one over.
Well, look, I'm going to steal the ball back from you, Michael, because now we're entering into my favorite player territory, and Tizian's definitely up there for me, because this guy's got the skills of a solid, third star, second star on maybe a slightly lesser team, but he's managed to turn that into a supportive element where not only does he have the aim and the individual skill, but, from all the interviews that I've heard with his former coach in particular as well, Toby, just discussing how incredibly well thought out his overall mindset for the game is, and he seems to know every single piece of utility. If there's a better way to throw it, he'll know. If there's a way to throw that one smoke maybe 0.4 seconds faster and get that small timing out from where he can push through, he'll know it. If he's got the flashbang that he needs to throw out for Sirsen to be safe, in every single position, he knows it. He's one of the big reasons why Big was also able to, God, I hate saying Big twice in a sentence because of this team, but hey, he's one of the massive reasons why Big was also able to become so damn good on Dust 2 in particular, a map which a lot of people before Big last year said that, hey, no one's ever really going to have like a 70% win rate on it in a legit way. They're going to have to farm some lower tier teams and whatnot. No, that's actually how Big got to number one in the first place. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of that. Now, with all that being said and done, we're not going to move to the veto yet. But since I've talked about map pools, Michael, we can't not address the elephant in the room that Big now are not really looking like they're playing Ancient. So overall, matchup-wise, without delving too greatly into this, what do you think LDLC's chances are?
I think they're pretty good. It just depends. I think the mentality for Big coming into it is going to play a big factor, because there's a way that you can play directly to your own strengths and kind of play around LDLC. And I think with the current state that they're in, still trying to kind of find that same level of consistency, playing around LDLC, even though they are quote unquote the weaker team, does actually make a lot of sense, because you almost don't want to come in with too confident a step. I'm talking about summertime madness and whether they can do that same thing again. I think that's got to be in the back of their minds as well. It's like, this is about the time where we hit top 1 last year. So they need to be respecting each and every opponent that they have as well, to the same degree that they would have when they were still this up and budding, newer look Big last year.
Well, look, we've got to go to a bit of a break right now, but when we're back, we'll have the full veto process and the full in-depth dive. See you soon.
If you want to know what you're good at, and, well, also what you suck at, check out csgohub.com. Coming!
Yes, nice shot, my friend.
Cheaters ruining your plays?
I have eyes on the enemy.
Bad servers stopping your shots? What you need is ESEA. Advanced anti-cheat to stop cheaters. And the best servers around, all with 128 tick rate. ESEA, the best way to play CSGO.
Vive una vida llena de personas que te quieran, que te respeten de veras y que lloren cuando
And we're back. So now we're going to have a bit of a deeper dive into the entire matchup between Big and LDLC. And Michael, what we were just leaving on about is the fact that Ancient is now back in the map pool. It's been introduced to the map pool, kicking out Train in the process of doing so. So far, Big hasn't really revealed whether they do or don't play Ancient. And if I'm honest, if they're trying to save it for a rainy day, I don't think that they think LDLC is going to be the team that's likely to rain down on them. What that does do, though, Michael, and I know you're going to talk about this, I'm going to try not to take your shine away too much, is it leaves the fact that Big and their permaban of Inferno, which is a pretty odd permaban anyway, are actually going to have to forcibly change that and maybe let that through. You think maybe there's some hope for LDLC?
Yeah, it does put you in a weird spot because it's such a strong map for LDLC already. So, leaving it in is also a worry because I think LDLC are a team that have been letting it through that first round, and when they haven't been banning out their typical hard veto of overpass, they have been usually punished for it. So yeah, I think there's a lot of ways this could go, but you kind of have to play with the idea that maybe you have to kind of start a map down if you're Big, I think, because I'm not too sure, because I think there's such a taut team and they love pulling bits of information from other teams and finding these nade lineups, finding these crazy strategies. I think it's just too new for them to adopt it just yet. I think we'd expect to see it maybe like a month down the line.
Well, Michael, we'll have to talk about that in maybe doing an eco round or so, because now we've got the veto out, and LDLC also don't actually play Ancient, so I'm kind of curious to see what the first two bans end up being. Now, I'm kind of inching maybe towards Big banning out Ancient, but Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm thinking Overpass, Ancient, first round bans for either of these two teams. I think it makes sense for Overpass. LDLC, every time they've let it through, they have a 0% win rate on it, so it's 10 times they've let it through and they've been punished. Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. We don't think we have to think too hard about it. And I think Big are just going to ban out Ancient straight off the bat. So I think this moving into the idea of then, oh my goodness, they've actually banned Inferno. Okay,
I'm very happy to see this. I thought this might be the curveball they might end up throwing over here, Michael, because at the end of the day, LDLC also haven't been picking Ancient, and for them to go into a purely firepower-based thing, mate, firepower-wise, Big's always going to trump you. So I quite like this. This is a solid overdog ban coming in.
Yeah, no, you can see the justification for it, but I also think it's worrying because if LDLC want to throw their curveball right back, you try and hit me with the right hook, I'll hit you right back. They could very well pick into it themselves. I think Big just go with a comfort pick in Vertigo. It's their best map in the pool currently, and I think if they don't pick it now, that it gets banned and it doesn't see play in the series. That's actually kind of thrown me for a loop because I thought for sure Big would stick true to how they've been kind of approaching a lot of the vetoes since Ancient's been introduced. So they are really calling out LDLC and seeing if they have anything to play off of. But yeah, I think Nuke makes sense as well for LDLC. It's what I expected Big to ban in the second round if Inferno had seen the light of day.
Well, we'll have to wait to see, because right now I'm expecting something a little bit similar. Maybe even a Dust 2 pickup from Big if they're looking to quickly 2-0 this, if they're confident in Nuke. But we're going to have to see that first. Nuke's definitely going to be the pick coming out. But yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so this is really interesting because LDLC also can't really know how much Big have practiced going into this. This does, however, open up the opportunity of Big banning out Nuke. And if there's one thing we do know, that Big has probably scrimmed Ancient at least a little bit just to try their hand on it, just to see what they can do. So it's not going to be like the very fresh beginnings of Ancient that we saw last week, where someone just doesn't know any angles, any smokes, anything like that at all. Not to mention, its second map, you get 10 minutes between the break. You quickly youtube.com ancient smokes and tips and tricks,
Let me just have a look at that one. Because I think that's where a lot of teams were going to draw inspiration. That I'm alluding to the song called A Executes, and I think that's something that we might see from Big. It's very stylistically them, I think, so it's very easy for them to adopt that. But yeah, I think we now would be just open up to a Dust 2 or a Nuke as a decider. I think it's comfortable enough for both of the teams. It would make a lot more sense if Dust 2 saw it through, but Big actually have the first ban. So, they move into it themselves. And this makes a lot of sense because Mirage is not only... It used to be permaban territory for LDLC, so then they recently adopted Overpass and swapped that one out. So they usually ban Mirage in the second round as well.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm actually a little bit torn about this Vertigo pick as well coming through, because Vertigo, as far as, I'm concerned, I look at Big, I say, okay, you're a fantastic Vertigo team, but there's much more upset potential in Vertigo than there is on maybe a map like Mirage for me, not because of the lack of experience and whatnot, just because I feel like Big's map control in Mirage can be a lot more dominant, as even if their players aren't individually popping off because of their utility usage, because of how Keto plays around the map in particular. But without that, Vertigo can be slightly back and forth when you consider how explosive Kios and Maka are, especially Kios, who really does not worry about getting aggressive over the ramp, which was the last time I watched at least, but it's been a while since I've seen an LDLC demo on Vertigo, but it's curious, and we'll have to wait to see whether Big's confidence in themselves will be well thought out. Ancient, though, is where I'm a lot more interested. And I love this from LDLC, and I really hope that they've been practicing it, because like I said before, LDLC is one of those teams that's a heartbreaker. They will come through, they will come in and just beat your favorite team because they're really well prepared, because they've done a lot of good anti-stratting, and they'll just knock them out of a close qualifier. Now, I feel like this might be one of those moments if LDLC is properly prepared, but you also have to remember Big do get to start on the CT side, and Ancient so far has shown itself to be a pretty CT-sided map.
Yeah, I think a lot of maps do start out that way because it's a bit more linear and it makes a lot more sense what you're supposed to do on CT sides early. T-side lineups are always more difficult, and it takes a bit of an adoption period. We saw the same with Vertigo at the start of things. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's so CT-sided. Or actually, and then the A-side executes came out, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's so T-sided. What do you even do on the A-side when all these smokes are down and everything? It's crazy.
At the same time, Michael, there was also like 17 iterations of Vertigo, so that did also help a little bit. But yeah,
and I think we're going to see the same with Ancient. We've already seen in the past month, we've had, I think, 2 or 3 not big changes, but just like small adjustments to the bomb site, because Valve are still feeling things out, seeing what the community reacts to.
Well, look, I actually find it really curious, even on some level, that Big chose to ban out Inferno instead of just going into it, maybe, because it is also a map that historically their core has also been very, very strong on. You go back a couple of years, that was a map where Big really made their name. That was actually the precursor to Astralis in 2018, where Astralis' grenade strategy, and everyone was talking about how, oh my god, these nades are amazing. They've revolutionized how to use utility. Actually, there was kind of Big Clan who did that. They didn't have the same results because they didn't have the same players. Astralis just scaled it up. It's sort of like Moneyball over in baseball, when someone did it well, and then someone with a lot more money comes in and just wins at the end of the day. So it should be interesting to see the fact that they've gone to Ancient. I really hope they've put some prep in. Played some scrims out and whatnot. They must know that it's at least a possibility to come out at this stage.
I think just even the thought process, it goes through to them as well. The fact that if you're going to start perma-banning Ancient, which is kind of how the vetoes have been going for Big recently, then it's just kind of an instant punish pick into Inferno or Ancient, regardless of what happens. So it's good that we get the curveball, but we have to start things out on Vertigo, which is, of course, is Big's pick coming into the series. Best map that they have running into the pool. I think both teams have come into this as well with first pick material within their 2 first pick material maps within this 3-map series. Just depends to see how good that first pick looks for LDLC. Yeah. But I think we're going to have to wait a little while to get there. CT side start for LDLC. They've got a kid on Lambert as well.
Quite a bit of utility across the board. The double nade as well between Kios and Lambert could come through, but Big easy does it. They've got 2 sets as well. Straight Molotov to flush out mid, and as they'll be exploding straight through. Marka will not be caught by it just yet, but Lambert's already been dinked down. Marka reveals his position. Zantares quickly brings him apart, and Lambert with the wide swing inside the flash while fully blinded will get 1-6 in the meanwhile, not shy of getting another. And it's a 4-on-2 Big. Not much to do here other than just try and trail back, see if they can find a pick off and a bomb plant.
Yeah, renavigating is always nice on the T side, but the noise that's been made, Sixer is still holding his close-ranged angle. Actually, falling off could have been an opportune time for movement. Easy first kill for Sixer.
Well, Zantares, a couple of kills in response would be quite nice, but again, they're just baiting him out, making sure he jiggles forward. Sixers managed to back off as well by crouching away, and Zantares hasn't really realized it. Again, the round just comes down to the flashbang and, P coming out from Lambert, just a combination of the nade along with Marka staying his ground for so long. Really nice to see all in all.
Yeah. Going for some early information, some early fights. 30 seconds and not a lot of hope. Cone trying to attack Centaurus. He does
Indeed.
dodge it though.
Although it is called a traffic cone, it isn't very fast. That's because it's not actually traffic. It's for traffic. Michael. I'm spreading knowledge
Yeah,
and
that's
wisdom.
okay. I mean, that one was a bit of a stretch, but nice stretch of the legs here for LDLC to get things rolling, battle early, and even with them, I think really getting caught up by the fast timings there by Big is able to adapt with that. Nice little flash play for themselves. Big on the back foot and going for the 4 spies. They have Searson on the scout. Talked about it earlier in the pre-show, just how exciting he can be on this weapon. Has seen a little bit less flair as of late, but has had a good ESEA season so far.
Well, it's between him and Xantares, as you mentioned, about who's really rolling with the stats. But for now, they're just rolling with the punches. Quite a bit of tag damage dealt. Marcus still hovering around with the XM 1014, or as I like to call it, $1,800 for nothing. Because you're never going to get just the one. And more often than not, you're not even going to get that.
Yeah, sometimes it's a give and take, right? The shotguns can be a little bit annoying in terms of consistency. More consistent than in previous patches, but
Well,
doesn't seem like LDLC are having too many issues dealing with these upgraded weapons.
yeah, you really have to respect this coming out from LDLC. Just the patience to be jerking out a flashbang just to make sure Marco can get up close and personal. He'll swing out, and that's what I'm talking about. $1,800 or nothing, and he will...
Not just one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because for some reason, it feels like the only time it works out is when there's more than one player. Because a lurker almost never gets caught out by the XM. And if you're going to go down, you're just going to go down to the first one. Maybe it's just a surprise factor. I don't know.
Poor effort there, though. No bone machine skin. Best skin for the XM.
Wow, some would say he is a bone machine himself, but Maka comes through with a quick one now. Lambert is here to pick up the pieces, although it is going to be needing some help from Kios, who comes in with a napkin and makes sure that all the blood is wiped straight off. Very smooth start to LDLC, as they have come through with only 4 casualties across the first 3 rounds, and Big... They've been pretty held up by this. I quite like to see how aggressive LDLC have been willing to get against those Glocks and whatnot as well. Just get some confidence going.
Yeah, we've seen 2 rounds now already that Big have put some presence in middle as well. I think just kind of feeling things out, see if LDLC will respect it.
Oh, I love that.
This is some early conditioning. Nade does actually go a little too deep. Big missing the time, or LDLC rather missing the timing.
I do really love that, though. Just... teams have been taking so long to adopt that nice nade. Teams have been taking so long to adopt the good old-fashioned, Kios might be able to get one over here, but doesn't choose to reveal his position. Instead, is content with knowing that Keto's probably got some pretty singed feet. Tizian finds Lambert's head, though.
Yeah, once again, this presence in mid finding some success. I've been able to close out rounds. Usually the trades for LDLC are too quick. But actually finding a kill on Keto. That push from Kios eventually did come out. It was a later timing, but he's pushing even further. He's cleared things out so successfully. The ult of Maka will strike. And now Big, they'll need to make some ground up here because they lost some B-side control already. And there's a flank ensuing, I believe.
Tabson reveals his position, though. He burned alive inside the Molotov, and because of that, Maka knows that he doesn't need to back off just yet. Serson shows himself, but a missed shot from Maka gives an opportunity. Hadji will shine for now as he drops the bomb, and Serson with a missed shot on the other side will mean that they can't get it back all too easily. Now they're splitting up. Tizian leaning inwards to pick up the bomb while Searson was trying to flank around, but he knew he didn't have time. Kiyoso coming in from behind, AK at the ready. Searson at an elevated position. Six has got the first. Six are moving backwards, tagged up but to the legs, and what a round from LDLC. Once again, you can see why it can be quite dangerous playing up against an opponent like them.
Yeah, willing to take some of these moves in the mid round. We saw Kios go for that play, plucking out Keto on the lurk, and then just hovering outside of B, waiting for the movement there from Big towards the A site to pull the trigger on the flank. That was a very, very well maintained there for LDLC. And we're already seeing some dynamic play with the AWP as well from them on the CT side, so it's going to be hard to read into if you're Big.
And Maka is just so flexible with where he can go with the AWP. Sometimes he does miss a couple of easy shots, which is one of the big qualms that people had against him, but And at the same time, that just comes with the territory of getting super hyper aggressive. But that's exactly what you need if you want to be able to get a quick upset win off. Haji, peeking out, gets the first, makes it 2 solid spray. But he will end up falling.
Not going to be able to capitalize too much off of that. Bomb dropped in a pretty advanced position as well. If Lambert had pushed further, would have spotted things out. Ahead of Xantares. Easy first. And while these players aren't really all too armored. Good shot from Keto, though. Searson as well plucking the second. It's now into a 2-on-2. Oh, Keto, what are you made of?
He's just saving the day over here. It's only Keo's in a 1-on-2, and so far he's gone for the flank a couple of times, so they're checking for that just in case. Keto hasn't spotted him yet, but as soon as Keo's looks away, Keto goes for the wide swing, and that'll be all she wrote. Keto coming through to save the day. His first 3 kills of the game, but 3 incredibly important ones. Those deagle frags are just massive, and despite Haji starting off very aggressively and very well, it's just the return kills through that one-way smoke that was present. Keto's just able to dominate.
It's actually quite funny because that kill on Xantares enables the Searson one-way smoke because Xantares was trying to throw it on the site, but he got killed before he could get it out of his hands. Early aggression over at A.
Walker's down, and that's where Searson is caught out. Haji just swings out from behind the sandbags. That's so well played.
Yeah, Searson trying to get advanced to Tarp.
Oh, what's going on over here?
Looking to be lined up here by Keto, but how
Six is watching for it.
Yeah, man, that's great. That is actually crazy.
You've got to love it. Maybe he was just watching for the boost and peak to come through, but instead he's given a player jumping up. He says, wow, why not? I like myself some sushi. And Haji, well, he's going to be a little bit raw. Tabson left with only 28 points of HP after that one, but fortunately for him, there is no offensive utility available. So if he wants to be the one getting the bomb plant down, the only thing they need to be worried about is bullets, which is, in all fairness, a pretty worrying concept when you think about it.
Low rolling, 45 seconds and a man down. With Tabson so low, you'd expect Tizian to be this first point of contact.
Kios is also on the flank.
I think he'll be late to the party, though. Nobody really contesting the site here for LDLC, so big read into this. This could be an isolated duel for them.
Well, doesn't look like they're reading into that. Lambert's kept them distracted for long enough that Kios can come through the alley, and they're just not expecting him. He gets the first, and Tabson, as low as he is likely soon to fall up as well. Now, Flashbang will not be landing, but Kios' shot sure as hell will. Even gets a save forward. The Krieg can be quite good on the CT side of Vertigo. Oh,
double AWP. Yep. Hunting down the one of Searson. Nice little cash saving measure here for LDLC. CT side looking pretty good. A lot of early fights towards this ramp position. They've not been giving this one up for free. It's been kind of awkward some of the times that they've been going for. They've thrown one-way smokes on a few of the railings as well. Not backing down from that early contest. And I think we actually see a lot of teams kind of bleed out on the CT side because they constantly fight for ramp control.
Yes.
This has been a lot more successful from LDLC. Big haven't found too many opening picks.
It's also been a different kind of pick every time, but this time Searson will catch off Maka. No trades found, unlike last round. And with a minute
I had to say it, didn't I?
True, Michael. It's always you who goes down and slaps out the underdogs. I swear, it's like you want the big to win.
Yeah, I mean,
Biased caster.
Sometimes it can be nice. Sometimes it can be nice.
Oh, Lambert. Lambert. Maybe put some traffic cones down there because he's caught speeding. A ticket delivered in a bit of a rude way, and LDLC are going to have to save their guns off the back of that one. Lambert really needed to find at least 2 kills there if he was going to come out swinging wide like that.
With a knife? I don't know how he'd get 2 kills with that one.
You throw your knife, you magneto it back, and then you throw it again.
All right, that actually sounds like a pretty cool FPS, but that ain't Counter-Strike.
It would be pretty cool, yeah. Maybe something like an MMORPG. If Assassin's Creed was actually good.
God, that series did used to be good, though.
It was, once upon a time. But once upon a time, Big actually picked Vertigo, and so far, it looks like that fairy tale is not going too well. We're not quite past the arc where the fairy godmother comes in, so Cinderella doesn't quite have a dress yet.
Who's got the golden slipper?
Ooh, isn't it glass?
Ah, God. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What was I thinking?
Sorry, Michael. It's all right. It's all right. Well, that's a golden goose. You're confusing it with Jack and the Beanstalk. You know, it's fine. These things happen.
Yeah, geese, glass, same
True.
thing.
True. Very similar sounding things, but you know what else sounds like big?
No.
I was hoping you'd help me out on that one, to be honest.
I feel like you're gonna line up for some punchline that never came.
Well, it is a pause coming out from LDLC over here, but what lines up with Big is indeed, this is such a terrible one, Wig, and that's why it seems like Big's got on, because they don't quite seem like themselves these past few rounds, trying to maybe set up a disguise, but maybe it's time to throw away all of that, as they have managed to at least get one off the back of the early pick found out on Maka.
Yeah, very, very much what you expect to see from Big on the T side. I think a lot is predicated on getting this early A ramp control, and you can see how vehemently LDLC want to fight for it. Haji even getting the advanced close position. This is often spammed here on the default. Wonder if Big could maybe get caught asleep. It hasn't been in a position they've contested for too heavily in these past few rounds.
So far,
Very passive from Big.
Yeah, so far hasn't been revealed either. Ramp side aggression has always been very much that from behind the sandbags. And that's one thing I really want to give LDLC a lot of credit for, is that every single time they are changing things up now. It doesn't help if Marker dies in the beginning of the round, but you can see over here, he's instead playing a much more supportive element. Saracens just watching for the same peak to come through, and that's just not happening. Marker now, though, is maybe going to be caught out. Tabson's tagged up, but that's straight to the legs. So he's still alive. Haji there will follow up and brings him down. Now Zantares goes for the wide swing. Haji inside the smoke finds a second.
Big move there from Haji. Moves out of the corner just before Zantares lines it up and the smoke's blooming. Could have very easily fallen victim to the pre-fire. Some solid damage on Haji exchanged over at A. It does seem like they might dial things back over towards this B bomb site though. Keto's held control.
I love this position from Sixer, though, at the end of it all. Sixer is just so ready for his light push to come through with 30 seconds left. He knows the utility can't be too high. And then not checking it out, but Keto's got the entry. Marker now tagged up. Sixer finally reveals himself, but he himself is suffering for it. Lambert comes through to save him. And that swing onto Surson will net them a secondary up once again. LDLC, I am genuinely incredibly impressed with how many variations of their ramp defense they have. It seems like it's such a staple, and it's allowed by the combination of Kios and Sixer, who they've just put so much faith in to be able to defend that B bomb site. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, it can be hard to find consistency when you're constantly changing things up yourself, right? So the fact that it got early success, and now every time that they're adding some flavor to this A ramp take, it means, and they're still finding success, that is perfection here for LDLC. It's exactly what they would have drawn up in their strategy meeting when they came into this map. And a lot of things going wrong for Big in that respect. Even the fact that LDLC on the rotations to the B bomb site were so defensive, none of them was going to get caught out by the mid lurk there by Tizian just because they wrapped from safer rotation areas. Made it so much more difficult for Big to find success, because if Tizian gets one or two of those kills, you know, it draws some heat. It gets into the back of the minds of those B-site players as well, because now they need to worry about the wrap and the potential for that jump up flank. Really solid stuff.
And so far, the B-bomb site's been where they haven't really needed to get aggressive at all. Despite that, Big's been using a flashbang there consistently. That's something they must realize. Lambert, early death is not going to be giving them any favors. And Big, last time they were able to get around out was by splitting up the CTs afterwards and catching off the player trying to recover. Haji over here, though, inside the smoke, completely undetected. He is the Phantom off the alley. And so far, he has been haunting Big in every round.
Zantares mistimed that smoke. It dissipated as he dropped down, made a step for himself as well. So that was actually, it was easy for Haji to sneak in there for that one.
Six's positioning was solid, but his shot not quite. Does re-peek, though, and manages to rectify the mistake from earlier this time around. Re-peeking, not always going to work for you, though. Keto will catch him out and go for more. Maka pushing forward, missing a shot. So many opportunities for him to recover. But now he's all the way through to the generator where Keto will put him down. Haji and Kyo's the only players left, and it'll be a difficult retake if Haji can't get a quick one. But it seems like Kyo's has been given a kill for free, but that kill needs to be 3.
Oh.
Solid headshot.
Yeah, dink, but not the frag. Saracen survives, and Big keep 2 alive in the post plant. The flank that was coming there for LDLC had to draw more attention. It's a good shot in transition there from Sixer, and even the fact that Maka beats the sight lines there from Saracen. It was being held by the AWP, but he was just so quick to make it out to Generator. That was a must-hit shot to shut Maka out of the round. That could have very easily turned to LDLC's favor, if not. 3rd round for Big, and it has come off this B bomb site. Even still, though, that execute didn't look that impressive there from Big. There were some missed Molotovs. Saw one towards that second beam or second pillar within the site that could have potentially housed another LDLC player. There wasn't anybody there, so the molly wasn't that consequential, but considering so much of the game plan typically for Big revolves around good utility usage, to see some minor errors like that occur does certainly hurt them.
Oh, solid flashes, but Tizian could be caught out. Instead, though, he's got a bit more backup. It comes through as well. They check the angle. They just know Big. There's one thing they're not having anything of. It is funny business. Haji will be trying to get a giggle out of them, but Big's not gonna bite. They're not gonna bite.
Knock knock. Who's there? No death.
Shoot.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, my punchline wasn't that good either, to be honest.
Yeah, it's all good.
Not a comedian, me. I couldn't get a laugh out of Big either.
I'd like to say I'm not, but unfortunately, that's not what my Twitter bio says. Well, maybe Big are going to be laughing their way to the bank if they're able to bring this one back soon, because a little bit more momentum going their way in LDLC this time. Where they're getting aggressive over in mid. And Tabson, he's already there. Now, Lambert might have an opportunity to find this kill quickly. Tabson's crashing forward, not checking the angle. Lambert makes Kios look pretty damn good, but maybe a little bit more temporarily. I thought he should be able to line up the second as well in that situation.
A lot of spam, and the fact that they've kind of sandwiched themselves, really awkward. That was a must-hit for Saracen. The fact that Mark has gotten away with that one, even going so far as to re-peek into it. Okay, don't give Saracen too many opportunities. They're getting plucked apart now that Tizian's been cascaded on by multiple angles.
And Darius doesn't reveal himself just yet, but could they go for a boost over here maybe? No, not quite on it. Haji instead is looking for them. And he has revealed his position. Lots and lots of noise made, and Zantares with the smoke will reveal exactly where they are. Marco waiting for them to come through. Six is just nested away. He's seen the rifle. Zantares, however, he's been baited. He's been baited by that one corner position. Sixer shows his rifle off, and Haji is just ready to swing out with that. I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, that was solid.
That was such an awkward round altogether, though. Getting yourself so much control towards mid, and then having to expend as much utility as you did from both the T and CT side just to hold on to control there. That wrap from I mean, it could have worked out, but once they slowed to a halt, things really broke down. That's definitely an awkward one, not one that you'll see too many times, even in scrims. Haji once again trying to get close to the action. Small gap around the corner could be an opportunity. Spam is looking to be lined up there from Zantares. On the reload, though, Haji peeks out.
Well, Haji's caught out despite a flashbang in Tabson's face. He knows exactly where that corner is. And Big. Where's that kid come through from? Is that just a double nade over towards the sandbags? Slightly confused about that one, I'll be honest. But B-bomb site's open for business, and business is booming. Kiosk is their first customer, but Big's not very good with service. As they just shoot him right down, saying, we don't do discounts here. You can't just get 3 for 1. It's solid, you've got to admit.
I feel like you've got to have like a coupon or something if you're trying to get a 3 for 1 anywhere, really. You need evidence, proof.
He's got an Instagram account with like 8,000 followers. Okay, he's an influencer.
Do you know who he is?
Do you know who his fans are? You know, they're gonna come through, shop all over you. The big, I want their own normal customers to come through, and that's only done with more rounds. LDLC will at least be able to save the AWPs, and despite Marco revealing his position, shouldn't really be doing too much with it.
Good that they are recovering things here on this T side. I think that was definitely a little bit of a worry with how good LDLC were looking on that CT, especially with the prospect of Ancient, kind of an unknown quantity, I think, for both of these teams.
Yeah. Feels like if Big do end up giving up Vertigo, this could very quickly be a third loss for them over here in Premier. And if there's any team that expectations are really high of across this entire season, it's got to be Big. Not even Endpoint has the same sort of hurrah about it, same sort of, hey, these guys went Pro League just now. Because, yeah, they were, but then they lost Flames, and now they've got Thomas, and there's all these caveats. And, you know, sure, they're a good team, but are they top 10? Big, on the other hand, you look at them, ooh, that's a top 10 team for sure.
Yeah, at the very least, even if Ancient doesn't deliver, Dust 2, very solid map for Big. Could have even ended up in first pick territory, but it's a strong map for LDLC as well. So, you know, do you give them 2 first picks effectively? That's why it's made it through to the decider.
Markar peeking forward.
They would have heard it.
His position is known. Zantares spraying him down, and Big have found themselves the first 2. Suddenly, that secondary op is hoping to find some distance, maybe, although 6 are still coming through to contest this one. That's surprising.
And that's why it's surprising. The AWP could have very easily ended up not being saved on over. Haji will try his best. He run it.
Might not be saved.
Yeah, they're hunting as well. I think the fact
should be able to find the first.
Yeah, here
Big
comes.
don't have that much money though. In all fairness, Michael.
I would still wager it's worth it. The double AWP for the CT side seems to be the ideal territory for LDLC, and now instead of having a double AWP, they could even end up in a situation where they have no AWP at all. Depends on whether Marco wants to go glass cannon with it.
We haven't really seen that much coming out from LDLC, which makes me go and say, okay, they really need the double AWP, though. It does seem more like it's a luxury that allows them to maybe get a bit more aggressive and ramp, but it's a luxury that hasn't been used very much. It's sort of like a golden toilet. You know, it's nice the day you buy it, but afterwards, it's just sitting around there. Lambert though pushing aggressively, and Zantares has found him. Haji with a trade. AK has been recovered. He's got another one. Bombs being dropped. Looking to swing.
Dear.
It's Maka with the P250 kill as well. And a smoke goes down. It'll defend for a while. Maka's recovered an AWP. A nade might take Kiyo's life, but he's still got just a sliver left. And with a boost up, the AK is in position. Haji is sliding. Haji is slaying them all right now. He's even got more backup. Tizian inside the smoke makes it contestable. Back to a 1 versus 2.
Madness. Now they dial things back. LDLC a little bit hesitant to allow Tizian the opportunity. Sixer on the flank as well. Does he read into this? No shot. Tizian, he turns. And now it's 1v1. Marco with an AWP. Big. They're dialing it all the way back. Tizian to try and clutch things out for him.
He's got the bomb on his back, no utility on his belt, but Maka coming over with the AWP. Is he going to be on time? It's being planted for default. He's dropped down. He's peeking out. Tizian reveals himself, but misses the opportunity. Maka on the other side shows himself once again, but knows that he has to wait for the bomb to be planted. That's his only potential advantage to come through. And Maka, he's going to hear it going down, but Tizian's faking it once again. Tizian, you're playing with fire, but Maka, he's the one wheeling the matchsticks, but douse them in gasoline and might just get burned. Tizian peeking out, jiggling it forward. He might have gotten it, but Marca's just too fast. LDLC, a round saved by Haji and a cherry on top put by Marca's AWP. Recovered from Big's corpses, and Haji now sitting 17-8 with the kills from this round. What a way to do it.
And it's the same problem position that we saw earlier. This A-side control for LDLC has been so successful. Now on pistols, they just run at Big. And they weren't anticipating such heavy aggression so early. The fact that Maka's able to clutch it out, prevent Tizian from recovering the round, that is big stuff for LDLC. That was a save, and so this buy has everything you could ever ask for. Maka once again going aggressive, and this time not going to be spotted, not going to be heard out. Searson out of the round.
And it's even more important when you consider that in the round just before that one, LDLC managed to get quite a few kills while trying to save an AWP. Haji got a couple of them, which are going to be very significant because if Big now loses, they're not going to have money. So this round is super important to them. Even over here, Kito's got a deagle.
They can grab the AWP for him. Not mistaken. Somebody gonna ferry that over. Kito doesn't want to give up B-side control. Ah, that's what'll happen. He does give it up. And this should actually net him into a proper weapon into the late round. 50 seconds now for Big. They get past the smoke. Nobody on the other side of this here for LDLC. They're playing a much more passive setup on towards A, expecting Big to go B instead. Mark at this retake. This smoke position has been typically an angle that Big have been siphoning off. They've run into it.
So far away. He's the only one with aggressive utility. Now, maybe he needs to start rotating over. Sixer knows where they're coming from. Tabson, good for the first, but it's the AWP which is missing shots. Kito, only 8 HP left. A Molotov now comes in. It won't quite be blocking out the bomb plant because there's a smoke to try and salvage. A nade as well. Prepped up but not deployed. Sixer will fall. Keo's fighting back. A 2-on-2 where Lambert's recovered it. And it's Tizian who will be the next to follow. Tabson's alone.
Oh, this is sneaky.
Going to come down to his positioning. They're not beaking him just quite yet. Tabson's waiting for them to come through. He's behind the railing. He's got the first. He's waiting for Kios to peek out. Position is known, and Tabson relives his glory days. Reminds them why he was brought on to the German scene in the first place. Started off with NRG, went over to Big, and that's all been there and then consistently. What a round from him.
Yeah, I think that throws us into a break. We have to see whether they're going to be able to pull things back into the second half. Good momentum here for Big.
I'm just trying to learn from all the things that I've
Something's got to be cooking because this pot's been stirred. Big Not quite the half they wanted to be off with, but it will be LDLC now entering into precarious waters, shark-infested territories, or rather bear-infested territories. I'm T-Time, joined by none other than Michael Yumi Cassidy. Michael, Big not looking the best in the first half.
Definitely some redeeming qualities, right? We I think started off far more shaky, but some adaptations, that constant aggression and changing styles for LDLC didn't work. Fast playing through mid, this is what Big tried to run on their pistol as well. Tabson going 1-for-1. Not going to have reinforcements though. Backing things off, LDLC showing that initial presence. Searson hot on the trail though. A lot of information gathered here for Big.
He's going to peek out pretty soon. Maka just shuts him down, though. Keto, despite a fair bit of success that he had managed to find with the pistols early on, this time a little bit different. Tizian at least will keep things even, but LDLC right now are hovering over towards that A-bomb site. The only players... Yeah, the only player who isn't here so far for Big is Tizian, and he's coming in for the flank, but already a kill found. Initially still a 2-on-2. Searson backing off, trailing away, while Sixer will make sure that at least he has a slightly better weapon. But Tizian and Searson are going to try and collect things together. Searson, shots being missed all over the place, and Sixer on the fade away, and the last bullet will at least connect with a quick headshot. Tizian, clean as can be. Question is, can he be brought down? Well, yes, he can. Sixer comes through, shuts it out, and LDLC find themselves a pistol.
Yeah, we thought Tizian might have gone for the flank, considering he had an advanced position towards the lower side of B already, but not fully committing to it. Actually just hovered instead, waited around, went for the back, more defensive play, right? It could be very aggressive to go for a backstab and just hope LDLC don't look for it. And it kind of costed Searson there. Had to be far more aggressive. Good nade stack here from LDLC, almost punishing Zentars. There is a force buy here from the CT side. What we come to expect here from Big in particular.
Ooh.
Solid flash, but nobody on the other side here for Big.
Oh, good night. Unfortunately, Haji's managed to push out in between the timing. And Haji's been very good about these timings so far, the pushes. And you always have to respect that. A player who a lot of people a long time ago may have written off, but right now he's riding his own fate. As Big going to be forced to save. Up to 10 already from LDLC, and the makings of 11 definitely on the blackboard.
Very much so. Ideal stuff if Searson can hold on to the scout, respectively. But a big game here from Haji, that transferring over to this second round and a half. Always nice to see. Sometimes momentum does get stumped between halves. T and CT sides, obviously very different.
Mm-hmm.
Front man with a plan as well.
Michael, you know what I was just thinking? The A-bomb site, the bomb blast rate is pretty small, right? Like you can see over here, not much damage dealt and all.
Pretty pathetic.
Yeah. How the hell are you going to blow up a building like that?
What are they even blowing up? Just the boxes? Is that?
I'm pretty sure it's just the building, isn't it? I mean, that's what they want to, but I mean,
then they would
maybe
dive around then.
Maybe they're like the real estate mafia, because like they just want to lower the price of the building and buy it out.
Development time increase.
What's up? Well, Big right now trying to develop a plan over towards his A-bomb site where boosts galore will come true, and galore indeed, because Tizian
was quick.
Found himself one.
As soon as he jumped up, immediately finding a kill. So, not much chance to react there if you're LDLC.
Oh, good nade.
Yeah, again, same one that was lined up last round.
It was like every single time, just some additional damage to be dealt. Searson. It's a tag through the floor, if I'm not wrong. Always a funny one.
Oh, they're pushing with the flash. Not going to find anything from it, though. Maka cleaning up, too. Still heavy presence here for Big. Searson with the scout. Keto's D still located at B. And he's lost Tabson alongside it, so Searson has to hopefully pluck one out if they want any success, but
oh, I love it.
He gets pulled out of the skies.
I love that from Sixer. Just the patience and how well LDLC played this 4 versus 5 after losing that first man to a triple boost is so solid. They're just so completely in control, calm. They're not panic rushing back from ramp. They're not saying, oh my god, we've got to run, guys, careful, maybe more nades, push them down. They were triple boosted. No, none of that BS. It's just LDLC come in. They know exactly what to do in these situations. They have their protocols down, and this is why this is such a dangerous team, because you've got the combination of a player who's very willing to get aggressive in Haji with a couple of young stars in Maka and Kios, and finally great protocols. Kios this time almost catching off Keto as he's found so much ground already all the way up to the bookshelf, and this B bomb site, it's very much under risk and underneath heavy fire. That's why Tizian's come back over, although he might be forced to rotate around as Serson's being tagged as well. Kios, great patience, but it is Lambert who still brings the kill back.
Upgrade for Lambert in transition. Tizian, Molly in hand, and Lambert's going to try and run him down. Molly will stop him from doing so. Tabson and Tizian doubling up on the bomb site, losing control of this one, or LDLC. Haji still on a lurk.
This is massive. Haji's position is not going to be checked at all right now. He's going to be able to creep through the connector, move forward. Serson, oh no, he's even coming in from behind. Serson's going to fall immediately. And you can see Big, they're reacting. They know they need to push or pull. It's either go forward or get the hell out of there. But yeah, that seems to be the only real problem. Xantares waiting for the peak to come through. Sixer is just jiggling this out very nicely, but he circles back at the wrong time. Is now in position, but the wide swing from Xantares is just a bit too much. Haji hoping to throw it off, but indeed it is just Tizian positioned very nicely. And look, LDLC, Kios knew when Keto's going to peek out. Right now, Sixer was ready for the Xantares peek to come through. Every single time they're prepared, but it's just sometimes your mechanical ability isn't able to keep up with your mind. And that seems to be what's going on over here.
Not to mention as well, there seem to be, even in that 2 versus 3, some opportunities there for LDLC, but it's very well reacted to there by Big, just making sure to eliminate possibilities into the late round. Their CT sides are something that can be very, very dangerous. So, especially with Xantares having a quieter first half, having him see success nice and early on is always nice for Big. A double to start off this round. That aggression, it's very isolated. There's no teammates with him, but Xantares getting the best of both fights. LDLC, they will look to recover whatever they can, because at the very start of this one, Xantares had other plans.
Maka, he's slow peeked everything so far. Serson with a scout is ready. A Molotov could force Xantares back, but he's instead peeked straight up. A nade could finish off Sixer, and indeed, it does do some damage, but not quite enough. Instead, it stabs him coming in. Uses that Farmers, and Big are just ripping apart LDLC's T side. Now, admittedly, this is going to be a very crucial round for LDLC to try and trail back, get some damage in, because they are not going to have very much money to buy up on the next one either. So Big can really start to build up some money based off of these few rounds.
Yeah, safety positions aren't aplenty, though. Nice position here for Tizian. Locking out a lot of potential area here for LDLC. Even the potential for them to, like you said, save these weapons and kind of force around the AWP. Seems to be the plan.
Maka could find Tizian if he turns around the corner.
I don't know
about his awareness.
Yeah, I don't know who's finding who, to be honest.
True,
Tizian,
true.
So many different angles you can be when you're on this high ground. Right.
Just a
nice and passive.
For a minute.
Yeah,
the CT side doesn't really want to give up too much either, in all fairness, and yeah.
I like
solid
that
save
Tabson.
Coming in. Yeah.
Tabson was clearing. There's a spot underneath that rafter towards, you know, that drawbridge. Yeah, yeah, towards A, and you can actually there's a spot that you can save on as a T side or a CT.
I really, really cannot believe that Valve hasn't patched that out, to be honest. I just do not understand. It's so absurd.
It's kind of mad, and I actually don't know, because it is an actual platform.
It's an actual ledge.
Yeah. So
it's not illegal. I know that. But it should be.
Yeah, it is a strange one. Either way, I think the talking points we had here for Big, highlight the fact that Serson and Xantares have had good seasons so far within Season 37, and they've had a pretty rough showing in the first half. They were constantly meeting aggression early at A, we highlighted Haji as a big success story for LDLC in that respect. So now moving into their own CT side, that's where you hope that Searson can be a bit more effective. Like we saw Zentaris get that same level of impact in the last round.
Oh, Searson's moving forward. Haji's found him out early on. Once again, that aggression you talked about is what makes him a victim. Zentaris has been a victim of having a flash thrown at his face. And that sound's been traced. A little bit more damage dealt onto him. LDLC content with a reset as they will start the trail back towards the B bomb site. No one here from Big at all. Haji left to try and buy time and sell a fake over towards A.
We were talking about sushi earlier on, but it's wasabi. There's nobody to respond to the call. Bad pun, but it's a bad plan considering the nades coming out for Big as well. Another kill plucked through the smoke. That's Centaurus to hit the deck. And it should be a nice and free round here for LDLC. The fact that Big vacated so early, committing to that early rotation, all predicated on the fact that Searson is met by such fast aggression. Really good call there for LDLC to run it back towards the other site, especially considering this was a limited buy.
Really, Michael? Wasabi?
I had it when you said the sushi earlier on, and I can't not say something that's in my mind.
Yes, you can, Michael. That's how we still have jobs.
Yeah. Bad puns are. I mean, they're nice. I mean, can't take yourself too seriously. Again, not a comedian.
Guys. All right, guys. We're gonna move past this. It's okay. LDLC. They're up 12-9. We're back to the game. It's all that matters.
Haji's been a monster this entire game.
Indeed, he has. 25-12 right now, and you're right. I'm actually really impressed. I did not expect him to be able to transition the success forward into the second half, just because of the way he was playing, making it a lot harder on his side. But his shift to lurk as well in certain places is quite nice. Kio's initially falling though, and that's going to be a big one to lose. Haji instead has found some time and made some space over towards the alleyway where Tabson is the only player on the other side, keeping an eye out for it. Flashbang comes in, not really catching out anyone. Haji silent as can be, and Tabson's brought down. The patience coming out from him is really just impeccable.
So differently, they were set up here for Big as well. Very defensive, passive play on A, and so Tabson had to be aware of that timing, but the nades pushed him forward. Pearson on the rotation, has a scout. Maka and Orp on the other side. Big not heavily committing to the rotation this time around because they were punished last time they thought it was going to be an A-side play, which of course this time it is.
Well, Sixer just taking the elevated position, waiting for Searson to boost himself up and go for a peek. I really do like this from him. And this is one of the things about having a right player who used to be an AWPer. He just knows the kind of plays he likes to make, but not when it comes to Zentaris. A wide swing into two. Sixer turned around for the flashbang and just couldn't help his teammates. Now Haji and Maka have to save it all. Maka finds himself one. Haji moving through that smoke, not spotted yet, but it's Maka who's been tagged. Tizian can't find the bomb, and it's Haji who's been given so much time because of it. Haji can just break it down. Haji sees Zentaris. He needs to get this quick spray transfer. He does pull out his knife as well, switches out weapons, and sure, he will fall, but at the end of the day, will the round in favor of LDLC. It's a 2v4 where they're able to pull it all together because of a slightly uncommon bomb plan.
This is only supposed to happen in my matchmaking games. Not here. Not now. Doing so well to get that double by Zentaris. Beating the timings faster than LDLC anticipated. That looked like Big were going to take that round away, but just they couldn't find the bomb, and it actually cost them massively. Not able to pressure the defuse. Not only that, but then the position of Tizian was outside of the boundaries of that smoke, so a small leg was showing. I think it showed more for us on the spectator than the other side for LDLC, but even still, that contributes because that smoke was fading.
Yeah. And look, when it all comes down to it, Big did manage to find the opening kills with Xantares' double kill coming in when he wide swings outwards. That should not have been around where Big loses that, but because they're so insistent on using that smoke instead of maybe pushing out, finding the kills early on, finding the duels early on, which they would definitely do ordinarily against a team where they think that, hey, you know, it's LDLC, we don't have to care too much about them. But this fact that LDLC has trained them into respecting their positions is just so clearly visible. And it all comes down to this man in front of Sirsen right now. It's Haji, who's been putting the fare of, well, bullets into Big consistently.
Doing it solo as well. Another victim. Hello, Tabson.
Goodbye, Haji. At least an aid is there to recover, but man advantage sustained for Big, although it doesn't necessarily mean a round win, which is something that was clearly evidenced from the previous one. Now, though, no Haji. And that might be a big difference maker.
They boosted for this. That would be big brain. Oh, tiny head spotted. Does he see him?
Sirsen?
Doesn't matter. Victim nonetheless. Lambert will fall. And so now Sirsen falls back himself. Doubling into the bomb site. Xantares coming to help.
Kios, Sirsen is on the other side of that scope and the angle. Kios doesn't really want to go for the peak just yet. Maka's going to be allowed instead as he crosses over. So much space given up. He's on top of the sandbags though, and the flashbang is good. Tizian manages to follow up with a kill. And despite Kios finding one in the meanwhile, the bomb's all the way back towards sandbags. They realize that, and Kios doesn't quite have time to rotate. He can pick up the op and try to save. Their money's not great, so going to be the worst thing to go for, but the first kill is found. He's going to go for the bomb plant. From the side comes in Keto, who's been peeked into. You could have seen that happen in your mind's eye, but the mind's eye were closed down. And Kios will fall. LDLC not quite able to extend that lead even more.
Especially with Tizian rotating around, that could have been very feasible. It looked definitely more visible for us. Of course, we have the X-ray, but I think there was a pixel or two that Sirsen could have seen ahead, but he remained focused on which fight he wanted to take. Of course, he could see his opponent, but not the other way around due to how angles work.
Oh.
Sirsen finding more success in the early stages. The second kill, LDLC trumped in this mid-control. We'll have to explore other opportunities. This was a full buy from them, so not much left in the tank for a follow-up round. Good opportunity for Big to threaten a tie scoreline if they can close these next couple out.
Solid stuff coming through from Sirsen in these past few rounds. Are really recovering some of his earlier transgressions. Maybe not transgressions, but some of his earlier defeats. Tizian, well, he's been solid all throughout. Maka, though, there's 2 kills coming in. Haji even adds 1 more to it. Suddenly it's doable, but more importantly, perhaps, CT side economy has been kicked where it hurts.
A lot of time to think this one out here if you're Haji. He's not disconnected, just holding.
Hopefully.
Waiting for a Big to make the next move. And of course they are. Keto is clearing things out over towards B. There is still an avenue for Haji to explore towards that bomb site, but Xantares has it covered.
Oh, Xantares just a positioning a little bit wider than what Haji expected, and the slow peeking forward will just benefit them. Now, Big, despite losing out most of their players in that round, LDLC will still not actually have a buy, so not too fussed about it. Should still be around where they can put up some money across the board regardless. Now, with the double op pulled out, I'm not sure if they bought that. Yeah, they did buy them. Okay, Tizian dropped over in one of the ATPs over Keto, though. So aggressive early on. He could have maybe been brought down by a quick P250 double think, but instead he'll have to face them off one by one, and they all come through, tagging them in as well. Keto just keeps on going, and Nate does a bit of damage as well. It should, however, have been an eco ace, but Tizian will steal that away, reminding him that it's not about the scoreboard. It's all about the rounds.
So rude. Because that was just easy does it there for Keto. Exactly what you like to see as an AWPer. He is the secondary, but playing it like any primary would as well. Just constantly repositioning, taking those fights, and recognize that it is against pistols. So you can be a little bit more exploratory with how you take those repeaks. Rifles out here for LDLC, up in Maka's hands. Oh. All the damage here from Tabson. The spam is successful.
It's all under the big man as well. Won't be too happy about that. Haji, so far the only player who's crept past 20, doubling up the next best on his team, and that is Marco on the op. So you can see how incredibly impactful and how incredibly important it is for Haji to be alive and kicking. But right now, he instead, he's got a case of the arthritis. He's got his shins hurting. He's got his toes curling. Don't really know what to do. And he's going to be trembling his way forward. 55 seconds. So LDLC are about to pull the trigger. Saracen will pull his. Zantares as well with a quick peek will make quick work of the LDLC push. And with the 3 remaining players being trailed all the way back, it seems like LDLC don't really have much ground or much reason to go over towards A.
Give me another moment to save. 35 seconds. Not a lot of map control either. Yeah, very defensive play. I like that setup there from Big. The fact that Saracen is peering around one side of the sandbags. And if he gets that kill, it works out exactly how you would have planned it out there for Big. The problem position for a trade frag is usually that jump up on the sandbags. It's a headshot angle for the T side. So it's a very hard shot to hit as an AWPer in transition. So Zantares is the one that enables that play to run out there for Big. A nice little tie scoreline for them as well. Good money for this CT side, even if LDLC answer back.
Well, even if it's correct, because right now, the utility is going to be very poor. 3 sets at best. Kios even forced onto the Deagle. You've got a Mac-10, a Galil. Unless Haji manages to pull off a quick few kills by rushing in early on, it seems very unlikely, and maybe he doesn't even want to be the one rushing forward. Lambert's the one with the Mac-10. Would not mind maybe seeing that being sent forward as fodder to the AWP, but that AWP is feeding on some bigger fish this time around. You can't make sushi out of this, Michael. This is shark meat.
Seeming like LDLC are a little cooked, in all honesty. As soon as these AWPs have hit the field, they've been winning the rounds out rather convincingly. Mako will strike back with an AWP of his own, but Saracen and Keto, in synchronous, are able to find a couple of frags in response. LDLC losing so much control. Keto wasn't done.
I put them in a pool and call them dolphins because they are dancing all over LDLC right now. Keto will end up falling.
So confident.
Yeah. It's just the way Big are now playing is how we expected them to be playing all along. And the respect that they had found for LDLC as a result of Haji's continual aggression is no longer there. Lambert as well. He turns away from one. And from the side comes Tizian. Comes back over for the primary, and Zantares just kills him. Now, without much money either on the terrorist side, LDLC are most likely going to be forced to fight for overtime at best.
Usually, one of the win conditions for Big on this map is actually Tabson to be a big hitter. Usually his best map, especially on the CT side, it enables a lot of his stars to shine. Very supportive element. Good in the clutch as well. Saracen once again looking for peaks. This time the jiggle is successful, but wide swing, Saracen will punish.
Oh, Saracen. Careful now, flashes all coming in, and we've already seen them lose around over to the P250s and the 5.7s. This time, at least the beginning is a lot better than what we saw then. But Sixer moving through. Zantares. Tapson's found himself one. He's just finding the open. Zantares as well, swinging up from behind. He'll catch another. And it's only Lambert to find a kill, but he won't be finding more than that. 15 found.
Loved
the Big
that.
Clan.
Loved that from Big. They recognize that it's going to be a low buy there from LDLC, so they do not throw a smoke at the early timing towards A ramp, which allows Saracen to get so many sight lines in towards A. You could see LDLC had the nade stack lined up for exactly where Saracen was positioned, but they couldn't throw them safely because, well, wouldn't you know it, there's no smoke down.
Saracen's just regressive again as well. You have 2 ults. What? Get 2 option B early on. If LDLC had started to rush through with a good flashbang, could have been very different situation. But of course, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But Sirson is not a man of ifs, he's a man of killing, and he's got himself the second as well. Mid-air catches out Sixer. Maka now left alone with very little to do in this 1-on-4. Bombs all the way away from him. Zantares is on the other side, and although he's scoped forward, there are too many possibilities, and he'll just end up backing off. LDLC, despite a fantastic beginning and a well-fought second half, they are still going to be knocked out pretty soon. It's all a question of time. That time is running out. Maka tagged up by the flames, down to 30. Flashbang not deployed either. And although he gets a stylish fade away, it's not going to be enough. Big Clan stumble their way to victory, but they look clean in the end. With that, though, we've got to go to a short break, and when we're back, it'll be time to talk a little bit more about the match. Season 37. We've got ourselves the first map between Big and LDLC, having gone through. Big struggling just a little bit over there on Vertigo, despite it being their map. Big, Michael, how are you feeling about that one all in all, especially going forward? We're going to have a trickier time for Big.
Yeah, I think to start things off, we highlighted a lot of the successes for LDLC, just how successful they were over towards A, respectively. And you could see that Big were targeting a number of different key areas. Mid was a big focus, but they just couldn't contain things on the default so consistently. Haji, what a game from him. He was a big part of the reason the game got as close as it did.
Well, look, Haji was massive, but you also have to look over towards everyone else and say, it did sort of feel like they teed off a bit too soon. Marka had some moments. I'd like to say Keo's had some moments as well, but really not too many of them. Sixer as well, a nice off shot hand there, but it just felt more like they had a moment and then Haji came in for the full hour. On the big side of things, Xantara's recovering in the second half was instrumental. Keto was key and crucial all throughout. So many rounds where it felt like Keto was the one to save it all, and you combine that with how much more aggressive Big felt like they could get in that second half. It felt like they were a completely different team, despite it's still coming down to a very close affair.
Yeah, Tizian as well. I think the two players we maybe touched on just lightly, just a little sprinkle of, ooh, this can be something nice for Big every once in a while, were the reason that they stayed competitive and actually allowed enough room for players like Searson and Zentars to kind of bounce back in the performance that I think we thought they'd have to start things off, but that T side was such a struggle with how big Haji was on the other side.
Oh yeah, dude, Haji, just all the hats have to be taken off for him, because the way he was able to change up his aggression continually and still manage to find reward in it was just wonderful to watch. If there was any reason for them to get 8 rounds on the CT side, it had to come down to Haji. In fact, I'd even go as far as saying it could have been a much better first half, if not for, they drop an anti-eco 4 versus 2 here and there. They lost a couple of crucial rounds where Big's able to clean up some clutches. If not for those, a 10-5 could have been very easy with the way Haji was playing. I wouldn't have been surprised if it had actually gone to that. But without that, and with Big managing to keep their creaky old bones together, they had a revival come second half. And that revival was heavily bolstered by the fact that, hey, there was no more respect being given over to LDLC the same way. Haji had been able to force out that respect after the first half, but beyond that, eventually it does start to teeter away. Big do start to remember, well, we just, I don't know, playing the number 1 team in the world like 2 weeks ago. What are we doing? Just beak him. Just beak him, damn it.
Just win, guys.
Yeah, just
Why
win.
are we having so many difficulties just winning?
Yeah, and...
I think when we looked at Vertigo, even entering the map pool, I mean, even in their previous results recently, Big have had some issues, like some pretty close wins. It's still a very successful map for them, but 16-13 actually isn't a shy scoreline or something that they haven't seen all too frequently. But a lot of it has come down to these key late round moments where it seemed like LDLC sometimes just kind of got stripped apart.
Oh, look, up next is going to be Ancient, which is LDLC's map pick. It's a map that we haven't seen Big play a single time, but we also haven't seen LDLC play a single time. So we're going to find out what exactly it has in store for us after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
smile, push me my tongue and pretend we're okay.
And we're back, and I have to say it is a bit ironic that the youngest map in the map pool is called Ancient. It's like a rapper being called Young Something when he's really 90 years old. Michael, Yumi, Cassidy on the microphone with me as always. It's time for Big versus LDLC, both teams debuting on Ancient for the very first time in both of their careers. LDLC, of course, haven't been the ones to pick it.
Yeah, and we have to see whether it's going to look nice and polished from LDLC or if this entire showing is going to end up in ruins. It's an awkward one to come into because there's no expectation, I think, for either of these teams. Higher for LDLC, especially coming off of a loss, to pick it into a matchup against Big, who are no easy opponent. You know, they're one of the big names you want to take out within this group, and the team that a lot of people will be expecting to top out the group. If you could take a win over that, I mean, that legitimizes a lot of the recent changes that LDLC have been making, especially with bringing in newer stars.
Oh, look, LDLC didn't quite manage to sneak out the first map, despite looking very promising. So there's a lot more for them to be doing. But for Big Clan, this could be an opportunity for them to just come through in 2-0. I have no idea whether they've been scrimming Ancient or not. But as I said as well in the pregame, Michael, which is the concept that, hey, you're probably at least trying it a few times. You're probably at least trying to scrim it for a couple of days just to see what you think about it, because Big's obviously a team where they have been somewhat in flux. They aren't really looking like they're going to be able to contend for top 5 again. A new map could really be, just a water that rinses their soul. At the end of it all, it's clear that they're still not comfortable in Inferno. They've got 0% win rate on 4 maps on it. So maybe there's something to be done over here as we do head into Ancient. And you can tell how new it is because of the fact that we still don't have too many flyovers, actually, for it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact we do have some flyovers is nice. It's a good way to lead us into it. The CamPad experts have been working hard to get this one all rolling. Still waiting for some nice radar overviews. I feel like we don't have enough custom radars. I think we've kind of been selling on the same for a long time. Now I've been looking into this myself. I've been seeing how hard it is to make one.
It's
and I was
pretty
like,
easy,
yeah,
actually.
I mean, it's still too much work for me. So somebody else do it.
Michael, we'll talk about this afterwards, Mike. I'm sure I can hook you up with someone. But right now, LDLC are trying to hook themselves up with a quick win on Ancient. Starting off on the T side, of course, Big having elected the CT side, and that's where maybe there's something to be done. They do seem to be coming into this with a plan, and that plan is to not retake any damn thing, except maybe the B-bomb side, which is where they've got pretty much no one. But without a kid, this will not be easy. They're expecting this push to come into mid, though. Zantares is lying in wait, in cover. Keto pushing forward is going to be pushing right into them. He's 3 players. He still gets 1, and they might be peeking for more. Zantares, how can you peek forward? Sixter coming around the corner, wrapped in. It's Serson to find 2. He's been baited out, and Zantares on a single point of HP is going to be left to die. Tizian at least recovers, and somehow in all the chaos, Big are still up a man. I have no idea how, but they've managed to steal the pistol.
Oh my days.
What's
LDLC
going
were they were so prepared for that as well. The fact that there were 3 players honed in on that position just for an advancement from Big from either the dig site or that jump up onto short. They were ready, and still they couldn't find the opening kill. They lose out in the initial trades. That is ridiculous. Yeah. So Big were definitely playing for a retake. It's by the fact they didn't have a kit, but it is winning by elimination. Headbutting the nade is Keo, as his teammates take a lot of damage as well. I think it's still a little unclear as to what kind of a map this is. Of course, CT side it has been the lean, but how you play it on the CT side is still very much in flux. Aggression is what teams have been adopting nice and early, because they don't expect the T side to be too well drilled. And what a touchdown nade from Keto. The utility damage from Big, the big talking point for them usually. And hey, they've learned to put it to good use already on a newer map.
Solid stuff coming out from Big. I really like this from them. I know that part of this is also most likely going to be, hey, we don't know that well and what to do in post plants, and we don't really know mid-rounding as effectively as maybe, something like a Dust 2 for Big, but getting a lot more aggressive early on, it seems to be the way to go, and I quite like this. And now, LDLC, a little bit more pressure being put in through a main. Instead, Big have got full control of a donut consistently, though, which makes his A side hit a lot harder to go for. Serson, the flashbang ready, but will they be peeking forward? Good timing on the molly, right? Oh, nade as well. That's so well placed. So much damage. And Tizian just left over here with the MP9 to try and clean them up. Will not find a kill. It's Serson to respond instead as he keeps it going. A Molotov comes in from up high and he's been forced backwards. The flashbang, though, will be placed out. Haji fully blinds and Harris can't take advantage of it. Haji will recover the duel, but so much damage still dealt. That nade could be big. Sixer goes down.
Around the smoke, Tabson's crept on in. They know that he must have been close by, has a Molotov himself, and he's actually mollied right on top of the LDLC players. They're falling back. They don't want any of this heat. They're so low. Oh dear, that's the bomb.
Put them out of their misery. Bomb's been dropped 35 seconds. Keto with the MP9 just peeking inwards, and Big might not be saving too many players, but they might not be caring either at this point. Marker, God, that's a 1v1 that Keto really should not have been giving up.
Like the angle here from Maka as well. Waiting for Tabson to make a move. 15 seconds though. Oh, Maka. Ready for the fight. The pixel peek there from Tabson. It's lined in his crosshair, and LDLC, it looked kind of promising to start. It's a burst play onto A, but Big with these rotations. So many angles to clear. It's such a staggered A-side take.
And you can see over here that Big are definitely feeling a little bit of the heat, and they are definitely going for the, a bit more blind aggression maybe in certain regards. That 2v1, the fact that Mark is able to find the first one. Second one's just a beautiful shot. The first one is just criminal on the part of Big, though. Keto peeking forward that MP9. Not really working out too well for him.
Liking a lot about what this A side has provided. Big seemingly very prepped. Like to see a bit more variation here from LDLC already. They have lent towards this A site. Once again, they will go towards it. Nice smokes being lined up. That's going to be for Donut, I do believe. And they're ready for the tree boost as well. Good counterplay here from Big. This advanced position from Tizian may not be spotted out.
Tizian's ready and waiting with the MP9. Flashbang's in a force back. Serson, they're pre-firing it, though. So well played. Serson's off. Can't quite strike in yet either. Keto on the M4A1. Long range is making it work, but can't make it too. Serson's the one who's come in to step up instead, and Marcus left in a 1-on-3. Knows where Tabson is. He's crept past, and Harris still finds it somehow. Is checking it regardless.
The fact that they get such success on the initial entries and then it all breaks down, that is unideal here for LDLC. Pistols. All they've got, no real utility. One smoke being thrown actually by them for mid control. interesting that we see this. They're trying to boost over it. That's exactly why they've primed this one. It's a little deeper as well. A big throwing their own smoke. Could have fallen victim to it.
Oh, this Molotov is going to be forced. Keos through Keos. And the company are forced to push forward, but Tabson on the side is ready. This mid-control that's being established time and time again from Big is just impeccable. And with LDLC being forced back, they are not going to be able to find out a miracle eco-round victory as they have before. Tizian continually. It seems like Big have been prioritizing this position very repeatedly, and you can see exactly why. It can be very solid. Triple box is always good to play from.
All right, not looking too hot for them, considering this is their pick in the series. Smoke for mid being deployed right off spawn here for LDLC. A deep one as well for Big site. That is nice to see. These lineups are very swift here from LDLC. Fast playing through mid, though. Zentares does find one, does fall off of the angle. LDLC are looking to crunch on in. Tapson's already here so early, but Maka reads him.
Lambert waiting for them to come through. Keto's been caught out. He will end up going down. Not quite to Lambert's fire, but instead it is Keos to finish him off. Now, as we wait for the full execute to come out towards that B-bomb site, Big are going to figure it out. It's really Serson who has to lead the charge, but with an op, this is not ideal. He had an opportunity, but can't quite make it work out for him. Instead, forced back into the scaffolding. It's Zentares to find one, but it's a swift trade. Nade is well primed. Serson will peek forward, denies the bomb plant, and this is where Haji has to clutch it out in this 1-on-2.
Smoke's fading as well. Knows where Searson is. Close range fight. Searson closely tucked in the angle. Haji knows. Searson not going to be ready for it either. So a 1v1 that Haji has made for himself. Trying to reposition. 30 seconds to do so.
Oh my god, Tizian's aware of this, though. He's already in position. But Big do not look super confident on Ancient so far, but they've definitely been putting in some reps. You can tell with the parting of these players that, hell, I feel like what's been going on is maybe they've just been bugging it quite a bit, and also put in one or two days of some practice, of some dry runs and whatnot. Combine that with a lot of bugging, where individual players are more likely to happen, despite it being a team like Big. It seems like that's really what's going on from them, and I'm loving this look.
Yeah, is this another weapon that Big have? You see the summertime madness? Exactly what Big fans are hoping for. LDLC, this isn't the sharpest of stuff to kick things off. Maybe expecting a weaker, more vulnerable Big. The counter Molotovs are perfectly placed. Centaurus has so much room to work around this smoke. He has a teammate with him as well. They're stopping LDLC right at the door. Hello, we don't want any of your cookies. Lambert, 1-on-3, P250. Bomb on back, and no real shot at this one. Big have locked down what little LDLC had to bring into the round, and it is a nice anti-eco here for Big.
Steal the cookies and don't even pay for them right there, Michael. And that is wonderful stuff from Zentares in particular. The long freight transfer is very solid, especially considering the fact that he gets some damage in through the smoke as well onto the third player, LDLC. They've got a plan in mind. Unfortunately, that plan's being shot down repeatedly, and well, it might be repeated over here. Zentares is only good for one, but in the meanwhile, Tizian's found a flank. It's going to be Maka to go down, and donut control. We talked about how important it's going to be to keep a hold of it. Tizian sure as hell agrees.
I think he had enough of a sightline on Haji as well for it to spot on the radar that was the bomb crossing. They tried to move on back, but Lambert getting dropped. Now Haji's all that's left. And this is an awkward spot to be in because they know that you could be here, and the rotation back is being contested by Tizian. Not to mention, Searson is pushed all the way through that A site. Not a lot of hope for this one.
Well, Tapson is going to be getting aggressive. Seems like it won't be the timing working out for him. LDLC over here. Again, we also have to remember this is the first map that LDLC is playing on Ancient 2. So I'm sure they've put in a lot of reps. It's very clear that they have a solid idea of what they want to do, but mid rounds are always going to be very different from scrims, especially considering the fact that I would imagine LDLC doesn't get to scrim top teams all that often either. I know that they're in the same group as them, the same practice group on Facebook and on prac.com, but obviously there's a bit of a dynamic between teams. Teams like LDLC generally get given more chances when it's closer into something like an ESL Pro League, something like IEM Cologne, some place where the top 16 teams in the world are already playing, and then they need some solid practice partners outside of it. But for Ancient, I really doubt that they've had this much firepower they've had to deal with so far in practice.
I wouldn't even think it's maybe even not even that as a talking point, but just the fact that Big have been banning it out as of late, and then I mean, the fact that Big have decided to leave it open for LDLC to test the waters so early into Ancient's implementation, like I would have maybe expected to see this from Big at one of the big events, something with a limited time run, a full season of ESEA Premier that gives enough of a warning, I think, to other top teams to read into it. But every game's important here for Big. We talked about it earlier on. They're looking for that consistency, and this could be the start of something.
Michael, while you're not wrong about that, I also have to consider, we've got to consider the round as well. Six has got himself a solid advantage suddenly, and with Searson being low, this could be the window of opportunity that's been opening to let that smooth little breeze through. Now, Kiro, he doesn't like breezes. He's searching around for cracks in that window, and he might be able to get one here now. Haji's slowed things down. Not the weapon that we were lauding him with. It was very solid with a 5.7 earlier on, but obviously T-side not quite available. LDLC is slowing down a lot.
Kiddo's got so much control over that B bomb site, so they can actually lean towards A if they decided to.
Oh, good smoke as well from Searson.
From far.
God damn.
That's all you need to know. They've definitely put in the reps.
Oh, Searson even knows that they're coming in for him. In the meanwhile, it's going to be another shot found from Sixer, but Searson's there to trade away. Kios somehow found his over towards the B bomb site. Searson with 13 HP will fall. That didn't look like it was fair, but LDLC don't care.
I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure 3 players shot bullets all on like the same tick.
Yep.
Because 3 kills happened in an instant, and all of a sudden, Big were worse for wear. That is a crazy round for LDLC, and one that could maybe revitalize his T-side. The fact that they've had so many difficulties now on not even an ideal buy, it's mainly Deegs, hampers the economy here for Big. They're taking some short-change decisions. Searson, the only one with a proper weapon. That's the AWP, but already being identified, missing his opening line.
Marco doesn't quite get that initial shot. That could have been very big. Tizian spots them all out now as he's trying to retreat backwards. This will not be an easy defense for the A-bomb side to come through. He peeks outwards. It's hard to intercept. LDLC. At this point, all they have to do is just make sure they don't fall to the same fate that they just delivered Big. These pistols cannot be allowed to get kills, and this op preferably should not be allowed to save forward. Otherwise, Big will have another full, complete buy with seemingly a double op setup. Kiro sitting on 3,700 as well. But Michael, just to touch on your point about Big pulling out of it, I actually think that this is really good for them because they've shown that they're willing to play Inferno. They've shown that they're trying to incorporate that into their map pool recently as well. And now they've also shown against LDLC, hey, we're pretty damn good at this map. This is actually something which, leaning back towards my days, this is something we tried to do. It's a semi-meme, but not really, which was that we would always try to find the weakest opponent in the tournament and play a map that we just didn't play against them, but we would also try to stomp them just with firepower. Because our logic was, hey, if we manage to do that, then other teams are going to have to worry about picking that into us.
Respect it.
Yeah, they have to respect it a lot more. So, in my head, maybe a little bit of that, maybe some mind games going into it as well for Big over here, but yeah.
But this isn't even just firepower, right? We're seeing some really good utility usage here from Big.
Yeah, this is solid.
don't know that the logic really applies. This setup here from Big, though. Uh-oh. Haji's got the boost, and that's a free kill for LDLC to start.
Well, Haji is able to push through the smoke for a second as well. If LDLC are ever going to be getting free kills, it seems like it's always through Haji. Now, admittedly, Lambert's casual, they will be a slightly sad fight for him to meet, but with the bomb, they're quite far away. Keto's demise means that the B bomb site rather should be open for business. Kios doubles up.
All right. Just like that, LDLC have all the control they needed. There's him with the AWP to save, and this will be a B-side finish, and a nice one here for this LDLC side. Some individual performance coming out for LDLC for sure. That B-side lurk from Kios, Haji locking things down in middle.
I like the boost though from Haji.
Yeah, the same smoke as well there from the LDLC T side. It's weird because I don't think many would have expected that to be a smoke that the T side throws, expecting the sort of CTs to look for early control, but see just how well it works out for him. On the hunt, they want to get rid of Searson's AWP.
They should be able to over here. Searson misses his shot as well. Knows there's got to be another player coming in from behind, and without a single casualty in the hunt, at the very least, Kios is able to shut them down. Speaking of being shut down, Lambert not had a great game so far. 1-10 right now, and although his teammates are recovering, he sure as hell needs to as well.
I think I liken the playstyle so far from the T side, I think, to maybe FPX, or calling from teams from ESL Pro League. They looked really good. A lot of individual performance as well, I think, had to come through for FPX to look good on the map.
Yeah. Modern had an absolute banger in map.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember if that's actually that sort of middle setup for LDLC is something that they could have even drawn from it. Memory a bit hazy. Just came through. There's so much green on the map, so much to. It's very distracting.
It all blurs together. You know, this is what the world used to be like before global warming, kids. Believe it or not. Lambert, push comes in. Searson's got one. Tizian makes it another one, and they just keep on going. They've recovered the AWP as well. Suddenly, it's all about dealing that deagle damage all the way back. Tizian. Those 2 kills are phenomenal. And Sixer, he might just be another one added to that.
Well, he gets one before going down, but not left Haji in the best of positions. All these weapons that have been recovered here for Big, that aggression at B, they weren't ready for it. Those B control nades came out from the CT side, but not putting as much respect on it. See if Haji can recover. They've already had a 1v2 for Maka. One harder here for Haji. Could be the same bomb site that is the potential for success. Gonna be a slow creep, and nobody from Big is going to be close enough to really identify it. Tizian has a very thin line that he can peer into the bomb site, but it can be dodged out if Haji paths into the site a little bit more elusively, keeping close to that tree boost.
Well, Haji, he knows they've got money for days. All he wants is just a couple of kills. Naturally, that money can still be tested after losing out to an anti-eco. That's always one of the weird parts about the T-side economy as well. It seems like one of the only real ways to properly keep it tested these days is by winning out these anti-eco rounds. But Haji with the bomb plant and another kill found has done a splendid job of keeping it in tow. So LDLC, I mean, with the way the wallets are looking, they should probably have buys for the rest of the half. Most likely.
I think
close.
they'll be okay. You're right. 10k in back pocket of pretty much everybody. Not a comfortable round to lose though.
Ragdoll foot just going right back. Gotta love CS models sometimes.
I think one of the things we have noticed, I think, is what maybe a point of critique for both of the bomb sites. It's very difficult to get plants down. Both of the bomb sites are so exposed. Big, they're looking to get aggressive again, but this time they're so ready for it. Not going to happen twice in a row, and no chance, Big.
Searson, he's also caught out, and LDLC, pair up aggression with a interesting hold in towards B ramp, and they might be able to find one, but even that will evade him. Tizian alone versus 5, and where the CT economy looked like maybe there's something to help them out there, and then they've lost it all. Tamsin and Xantares, and Keto, all without really a buy over here. Big might be forced to give up 6 practically for free. And then T side, we don't know what's going to come there, because Big, again, really solid stuff to start things off in the half, but later on, not so much. Now you start to wonder, is the T side going to be maybe a bit sketchy?
Yeah, I think that'll be the biggest test for Big. CT, I think, is easier to get under wraps. First loading position, but okay. Worried about the pistols.
Should be.
Very clearly.
Keto. Ooh. 6 of ducks away, otherwise that could have been another one.
Here's him with the ult. And a smoke, a flash. Maka's primed.
Yeah,
I wanted it. Arm's not long enough.
Yeah, you have to give a lot of credit over towards LDLC for these adjustments. So coming out, the way they've been able to adjust to the CT aggression is pretty solid. And if not for that one P250 round that Big had been able to win out, this could very well have been a good advantage for LDLC to bring back in their favor. Maybe even to an 8-7. And yes, that was a sexy shot.
Definitely looking recoverable. Good recognition here from Maka, not only keeping sightlines on that AWP, but then transitioning to the rifle. Keeping things nice and toasty here for LDLC. Mid-smoke being thrown. Learn the lineup. It's as fast as it can be. Right off of the spawn. Once again, big going for B-control nades. This time not going to commit as many bodies over. In towards Dig. They'll go. Maka finding the entry, but it is traded quickly.
Solid stuff coming out from there. Again, just the entry pathways from LDLC are really good. They know exactly what their timings are according to the spawn. Lambert now over here is hoping to catch out a player over at Donut. Santaris, though, flashbanger will enable him to peek in and drop the bomb. Lots of information given up because of it as well. And Kios is slowly creeping forward. Having recovered the bomb, yes, but not really the man advantage. Meanwhile, Surson over here in this B bomb site's playing these close range angles. The op maybe not the best weapon to have anchoring B bomb site, but when it's Surson, then anything is possible.
Yeah, hard angle to clear towards this inner house. Now that it's been changed up, easier sightlines for an AWP. So much space over at the B bomb site though that they lurk on in.
Yeah, Tabson's watching. He's got a nade ready. If he wants to chuck it out, this would be a great time to do just that. Surson's backed off though, and now he heard it. The sound cues were given away, and Surson is waiting for the push to come in. Xantaris comes in on the flank from Snake, and Tabson is ready to shut it all down. It'll be 9 for Big, but we've got to go to a short break to see whether they can keep it going come second half. 5 players kept alive as well. Very solid stuff from them in the anti-eagle in particular, maintaining their economy like nothing else.
Could be now a turning point here in this game. Could be gun round versus gun round. And LDLC should be on the bonus with the MP9s. They are indeed. Once again, deep molly by LDLC. Seems like that will be the standard here for them. Maka, advanced position around the corner. They could boost up for this.
Oh, Certain. He's going to find Mark over here. Kiro as well with the earlier opener makes this a very difficult situation for Sixer to survive in. He needs to get aggressive, but with Haji's demise, he's decided to maybe crawl back into a shell. See if he can save. Once again, playing adjacent to Lamp Room, which is what I will call it, Michael. Actually, it's house, but still, there's also a Lamp Room there. I feel like if you want to call it dig, then excavation's better.
Yeah, excavate. It's just so long. Dig does sound a little bit kind of...
Dig just sounds too short. Like, it sounds like Dignitas probably made a big play here.
True.
Which is like, listen, Dignitas don't deserve any callouts just yet. They need to do a little bit more than
Don't even know that they've played the map yet, so...
And that just says it all, doesn't it?
Yep. All right. I'll concede. Lamps...
I thought we were going with excavation now, but all right, fine.
No, whatever. I fully conceded control of that one. There are lamps there.
Okay.
Infinite oil in those lamps as well.
Indeed.
Constantly lit. In fact, many of the candles are across the map.
That's just a wonderful world of video games where non-renewable resources just do not exist, including people, as we have seen all of LDLC spawn back in. Big though. After that previous round where they were able to find the double entry coming in, Maka with an interesting smoke cones out. I think that's supposed to fake out as if it is a one-way for someone to be peering over. But right now he has, of course, circumvented that and gone to Donut instead. Sixer waits for any sort of aggression. Good flashbang will be catching out that B-bomb site and forcing out a lot more utility. They've got to return Flash and Serson's drop because of it.
Headshot angle there for Zantara, spotting out the push from Sixer. A lot of damage, but no kills. The Polly's Pocket, I think, is called by ESL Pro League. I don't know that I agree with it. It is a pocket on the map. Yeah, that's what they've been calling it.
Why is it Polly?
It's like a, I don't know, it's alliteration. Parrot. Used to be wall bangable, was what I was going to say, but no longer the case.
I just call it Cubby.
There were many Cubbies on this map, unfortunately.
Cubbies in the game. Zantares is hoping to peek straight into one of them, but that's where Kios is a bit too aware. Drops the bomb as well, and Tamsin cannot go forward to recover because there's a flashbang right at his feet. He turns around and is waiting for maybe a bit more assistance to come through, but without much utility, they can't really force out Kios, and Sixer's getting ready for a quicker swing inwards as well. Tamsin pushes forward, and Sixer's been distracted, but Kios can hold his own for quite a while longer. 3 kills for him from that same position. He's just done it all on his own.
Yeah, no time to make this one work here for Big. Nice and clean from the CT side. All that early damage certainly adding up and forcing Big into some awkward positions. Losing out in all of that short progression. Gonna put a pin on the round. So tying things up once again. And Big now have the choice as well to reinvest into this. They have some back pocket money, some savings built up. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Kyo's really locking this one down. I don't know if this is the wood that's behind him. Did talk about this previously, but it was updated recently and it was kind of a one-way spam. I don't know if it's been changed into actually just not being spammable at all. I think is what was the intention, but could certainly still be the case.
This is a full execute coming out for the A-bomb site.
Yeah, it looks good.
This is terrifying. You've got
cancelled, it seems like. Really delaying this one.
Maybe expecting a push to come through to try and interrupt them. In the meanwhile, they're not completely wrong, given the fact that Kios didn't find his way to Snakes. But, I mean, you know, it's still not that easy. Lower mid is still quite far away.
And a smoke for Marco.
A big one as well. Flashbang is solid though, and it's managed to force him back straight through that smoke. Tizian has got control. He's got another kill as well. With that, it's going to be much harder to stop this bomb from going down, but it's Sixer and Kios who are nestled away in the hut to bring them all down. Bomb being planted, but Maka and Sixer will not stop. It's just Surson left despite finding the early entry in. They're just not able to clear out the hut fast enough, and they will end up losing Surson as well. Big, good entry pathing inwards, but you need a lot more kills to actually plant the bomb there.
Yeah, I don't know if one of the smokes missed, because there's one smoke for the elbow on that A site where you can have that really deep line. Saw some retake smokes being thrown by Big over to that corner. And then there was another one on the bomb side as well, cutting off one of the openings over at Ruins. They threw 2 smokes that direction, and then Donut just didn't have a smoke down itself, so he had to throw one on the fly. It was a little too deep. Just didn't feel safe in how they approached that bomb site. First glance at a full execute there for Big, and it doesn't look all too pretty.
Oh, this could be big. They've managed to creep past. Maka is not really ready, but Maka just swings out for 2. And he keeps it going. Knows there's another one. Flashbang will keep him at bay for a while, but temporary is the time that Big have left on this earth. Brought straight down. LDLC up to 12. Big only finding a single round, and that was off of a double entry on this D side. Really looking a lot more flaky now that the second half has begun.
I think this is, like I was saying, where we'll really see just how well they're prepped on this map. That CT side looked pretty refined in terms of how they're approaching things. Was definitely a big fan of how they were running things on the defensive end for the A side setups. Good retake utility, good Molotov timings. Some of the duels were a little bit more awkward, but I think the groundwork has been laid. Don't know that we've seen that same level from the second half. LDLC looking to stretch their legs, show what their groundwork's looking like.
Yeah, LDLC has generally been a lot more successful with predominantly passive setups with, a couple of key points of aggression at most. That's something where Big's not really figured out how to get into these bomb sites that way, but this is a small little gap in that smoke. Tizian could find out actually, but with the fire being traded out from either side, it's not really much to be said at the end of it all. Keto's just the only one who ends up worse for wear. Not even that much utility expended from the T side, although the CTs have used quite a fair bit.
Really waiting to see what the move is here from the CT side. Keels was ready for aggression. LDLC have found a pick over at the A side instead.
Well, Kios is also ready. He's been so consistent in holding these angles, but this time not quite as much. And with the excavation / lamps / dig slotted up, it's all up to Maka. Make sure that mid will not be taken up for free, and 6 is still ready for the peak to come through and for the push into B to come in from Big. Rotation from Maka is on point, as has been the case continually now, just bearing straight down the B ramp. Loses out the timing window for just a second, but Sixer from Pillar is still very hard to deal with.
Shadow. Easy for Sixer. 20 seconds, Molly rings out. Sixer, another double kill from that same pillar position. Maka can now get the long sight line. Searson wants nothing of it. And 13th.
And what's insane, Michael, is the fact that LDLC are now looking like they're just the significantly better team when they are practically playing 4v5. Lambert, as much as I do not want to talk about it, he is 2-15 right now.
Is that a rough one?
13-10. Yeah, it's just one of those games for him, okay? You have them sometimes as a player. Lambert can't be feeling too happy about this one, but at the same time, when this team's up 13-10, regardless of that, versus one of the best teams in the world, yeah.
I think it's been some time since they've donned that title.
Oh, in top 10,
Yeah. Still very much in contest, but flash miss by Haji. He looked more refined on the CT side for sure, but a little good look. Saved up for Searson, looking for the pick.
Sersen peeks forward. He's found himself one. That's a pillar position. Now compromised. They're moving forward, but there's another one. They're not ready, but Sersen still manages to come in for another one. Now he keeps on going. The back bomb side is not quite. Oh my goodness. Sersen just preventing any sort of aggression, and LDLC peaking on an individual scale are, well, dying on that same individual scale as well. Oh, Maka spotted out. Still good for one.
Yeah, Zentaris tried to bait the shot out with the movement. But once again, his arms aren't long enough. That's the second time he's died trying to pick up a weapon. Will be recovered nonetheless. A teammate comes on by there on rifle recovery duty.
Wow.
Making sure that Tizian has a weapon.
And this is incredibly necessary for them coming forward. Big have the opportunity to reset LDLC's economy if they are able to get 2 or maybe even 3 rounds where they fully whitewash everyone. But LDLC, even just saving the AK and the AWP, that's huge. Lambert, in upcoming rounds, he's going to be able to have a weapon dropped over to him. And I'm really starting to hope that maybe we see a bit of aggression coming out from Lambert. Just something where he can get involved in the duels a little bit early on. Even if he's just someone to be baited out and switched for a secondary peak. But
getting 1 kill would be enough, considering
Yes.
the circumstances he's... Or rather, the form, I think, is fair to say, we've seen from him so far. Haji, a kill over at that A side. Once again, punishing Tizzy, and Six are looking to investigate the B side, and it's a labored spray of biggest whiffus. Tabston comes away with the kill.
Indeed, the technical term for a labored spray, the biggest whiffus.
Yeah, it's ancient Greek.
Indeed. Just like these ruins. But solid nade, but Marco's even better. Comes in with a double. He's got the orb, and it's only Kino. Left in a 1-on-3. Marco recovers the entirety of mid, seemingly on his own. Lambert's positioning was solid throughout the round. It just sets up for denying out their retake from Snake. And that's where Marco just steps up to the plate. He's 24-11 right now. He's been solid all throughout, and really, the CT side has helped them shine.
Yeah, the mid-round mid-collapse there from LDLC is perfect. Just all peaking in synchronous and just able to trade effectively. They surprised Big, I think, by how fast the reaction was, considering they had only simply equalized. Keels once again in excavation. We're going to keep varying these up. Keep you on your toes.
Oh, what's he going to say next? We dig, excavation, lambs, cubby.
Yeah, we're just going to call... Well, you know, actually, we should just do that. Have an entire round where everything is called cubby. A lot of close angles. A lot of dual peaks. Potential for CC sides.
Maybe we leave that one for an anti-eco, though. Kios, the king of off angles on this map so far, is going to don his crown once more. Keto on the other side is looking like a lean, mean fighting machine for most of this series, but these past few, Kios has been getting the better of him, and seems like this one's no different. He does give him time to turn around, but with a smoke in his hand, Santares has an easy duel. Will want to swing forward for more. Lambert on the other side of that smoke, though, is ready with an AUG. Very good in this close range position, despite the scope on it, guys, really. I promise. Santares, though, the smoke's gonna fade away. Lambert could push straight through it.
Big.
He's definitely thinking about it, but Tizian's watching for the angle, and Lambert will fall. LDLC are not going to have that win condition strike true, and instead have 2 very separated players who are going to fight their way out, or at least try to do so. Sixer unable to find that frag, and Haji, well, he might find Sersen, but not really up for an investigation. Puts away his magnifying glass and beret and says, maybe today's not the best of days to be Sherlock.
Yeah, detective work is risky. Even when you don't take the case. Big are certainly on the case of LDLC, though, not letting them get off to a resounding map win. CT side has looked better, I think. Hasn't all been predicated off of early aggression. You know, we've seen, I think, a bit more variation. Some passive setups as well, allowing Big to show what they've got. And it has been a bit hit or miss, more miss than hit. But
Indeed.
the fights, especially in the mid-round Those have kind of been going either side. Big in its more recent round results. I've been seeing some success. And now LDLC. Are they going to make an adaptation? I think we've already seen some decent duels over towards A for them. Tizian's been getting punished. But this B bomb site, I think Big have started to hone in on some of the timings and some of the play styles, I think, from some of these LDLC players.
Triple smoke coming out this time early on. Marker's also prevented from getting aggressive down B ramp, but over to Snake and, Excavation. Here's where you see Haji and Kios who are ready to take this close range crossfire, but Maka on the op, he's going to need to find the first one's flicks down, but it's through the stone and he just can't land the shot. Maka's been forced right back and he will re-peek, but it's Haji who takes the duel and the win. Bombs being planted, a smoke will even maybe provide more cover fire, but re-peeking into Xantares was ill-advised. LDLC wondering whether it's worth going for more over here, and Xantares, who will peek out yet again, will find Kios, retreats back further into the house, and that is where Dabson provides the cover fire they need. 2 ops to save, and Big have found themselves 13.
Right on the heels of LDLC. Could find another. Maka, the jiggle peaks on that angle haven't been all too successful. I think because it's a crack peak angle in general, Orpers are going to be gonna hesitate, I think, on the initial peak. Quite a hard shot to hit. We have a limited time window. Ooh. That's one spicy meatball.
Yes, please. Give me that good stuff. I mean, that is always worrying for Big, just not being able to find out those 2 AWPs. Of course, LDLC had a very weighted economy in some regards. 2 players were sitting on 11,000. The rest of them were sitting on 3. So this does bring everything back very nice and even. However, if LDLC lose this round, then Big have got a much freer road over towards match point. Sixer now takes up Marco's position.
Haji's been very dynamic, fast acting in how he's been moving around the map. Even with him winning a lot of duels towards the A side, not frequently overextending. Hasn't tried to look for like these big wrapping plays.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a lurk into B that Sixer punishes. Big tried that a couple of rounds over, and this time the AWP was ready for it.
And with Marco's position so aggressively forward, with Lambert nearby in excavation, this makes the A-bomb site look like a mighty fine target for a quick gamble. Rotate backwards. Marco rotating into Donut. He's going to be trying to help out Haji, who might not even need him. Molotov at his feet. It's bouncing around, giving him time, and it'll be all of Big to go right down. Tabson, a 1-on-2, a flashbang out, but nothing to do. He's jumped right into Sixers, waiting arms, and LDLC. Casualties galore, but 15's a score. Big can't quite push past onto that A-bomb site.
Rough money as well for this potentially last round of this map. Gonna once again have Searson on that AWP, but look at how they've been shortchanged. Centauri's a MAC-10, couple Deegs out on teammates. Got a lot of utility to play off of. Once again, getting aggressive. This time, Lambert to instigate. Only 4 kills in this map, but he's got a high-impact one at that. Looking to push LDLC over the line. There's still a trade, though. The fact that Kios is gone, that advantage isn't held for long.
Oh, Sixer. Well, for a second there, that's the problem with X-rays and new maps, you know? I thought that was just a peek straight into him. Marco. Regressing down towards that B-Ram. Sixer also lies in wait. These sight lines are maintained, but the shots are not hit. And Xantares on the MAC-10 will find the long-range duel. Sixer still dancing around to and fro, but it's Tizian to find the kill. LDLC might just save, but with these players as low as they are, it is a juicy meal to bite in on. Are they going to choke on their food, though? Tizian and Xantares lie in wait. Sixer's position now revealed. Tizian is found out. Xantares on 4 HP with an op, no less. That smoke won't provide much cover if that AUG ends up going down. Sixer will fall, and that's where Xantares is backed off. Right through the smoke comes Haji. Xantares lying, waiting. He will not be able to maintain, and Big can't make it happen. LDLC taking a 16 is as close as can be, but Dustu awaits, and we go to a third map after this short break. An explosive beginning fizzles out to a dark demise for Big Clan, but a ray of hope, an array of light coming in for LDLC as we move on to Dustu. Ancient not really working out for the big boys as they start off 7-1 but end up 16-13 down. And a lot of that came down to fantastic performances from Keels, Sixer, and Maka. Michael, how are you feeling about LDLC? I was really impressed by the Ancient.
Yeah, I think we were kind of talking about it just as we threw to a break. Just the fact that we're more confident in our CT sides, I think, than Big, considering how much aggression we saw from that Big Clan's CT first half. And, I mean, both teams kind of having issues on their own map picks coming into the series. 16-13 scorelines across both of them. And we saw the trials and tribulations, some of the more testing moments, but you're right to highlight those 3 players from LDLC, really big factors in keeping them competitive, and just having these very decisive wins that even when LDLC were tested, they had extra money in the back pocket because of how clean some of these CT rounds were.
And that's where I want to actually take it over towards for the CT side of Big and comparing it to LDLC a little bit. And guys, I'm going to give a quick disclaimer. I do not share all of the same views as Michael on this one, so, take what I say and flame me for it. Don't flame this poor guy over here for it. But to me, it really felt like Big did lack that extra second dimension on their CT side once the mindless aggression wasn't working out for them. Afterwards, you didn't really see the same sort of passive-aggressive combination holds that LDLC was able to go for continually. And sure, there's definitely arguments to be made for and against it. But I think that after you start off 7-1 and LDLC is able to mental reset and really start to bring it all the way back to 9-6. Could have even been an 8-7 if not for an eco round victory coming through there. It really is something that reeks of maybe a little bit, hey, we hope that we keep our foot on the pedal long enough and we don't just crash into something on the way. Unfortunately for Big, didn't really work out for them all the way through despite a solid 9-6 half. What do you feel like is actually, Michael, what do you think is like a good half on Ancient? Because to me, 9-6 doesn't seem like it on CT side.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Obviously, we have a limited sample size, but we kind of expect CT sides to be more successful. I'd actually argue 9-6 is enough, but it's one of those closer scorelines. Obviously, with it being newer, you want as many rounds as possible. 10-5, I think, is what you'll be looking for as a team that picks into it, just because you want to have the extra leeway to adapt to your opponents. We even saw it in that game, the fact that we talked about Big's constant aggression on CT sides. LDLC did adapt, and if you're going to go for plays like that so consistently, then you're giving your opponent an opportunity to read into your game plan, and 10-5 is enough of a round reset area, I think, for if you're a team like Big to then adapt similarly and have that same dynamic. I think I'm impressed by both teams, in all fairness. I think both of them brought quite a lot of flavor to the map pool. Some of the stuff we've seen in other games as well. So they've been watching, they've been taking notes as well from what other teams are bringing into this. But I think just in general, you highlighted it well. LDLC just very, I think, a bit more decisive in how they wanted to approach some of these rounds.
I am incredibly impressed, though, by the fact that LDLC managed to out-firepower Big as well in towards that second half without Lambert really being present. He had a poor game. It happens to the best of us sometimes, but his teammates all around him were able to step up so heavily. Kio's in-house and in excavation /lab/dig was just an absolute nightmare to deal with as well. Continually changing up his angle, even if he's nestled away inside the windowsill of house, he just couldn't really be brought down. It seemed like Big wasn't able to nail the flashes, the spacing, the Molotovs, the utility for him anyway, and that is one of the disadvantages of the T-Sun, that you're generally forced to use so many smokes early on in the round. But the fact that LDLC was able to punish it that effectively was really nice to see. Maka as well on the B bomb site was really willing to get aggressive down towards B ramp with his AWP. Found many rounds with multi-kills coming through. Just some great stuff. And obviously the cherry on top was just Sixer. Slightly more quiet from Haji all in all. But that is also by virtue of the fact that he was playing A-side anchor as well, where there weren't too many attacks. That being said, though, question is whether all of these players can show up on Dust too, and that's what's coming up after a short break.
Good at, and, well, also what you suck at, check out csgohub.com. Coming!
Yes! Nice shot, my friend.
Cheaters ruining your plays?
I have eyes on the enemy.
Bad servers stopping your shots? What you need is ESEA. advanced anti-cheat to stop cheaters, and the best servers around, all with 128 tick rate. ESEA, the best way to play CSGO.
Cast away a fire.
On Michael, it seems like both teams are going to be sitting on settees and sofas for this one. Which one do you think is going to find out that theirs is maybe a little bit broken?
Are you trying to imply that this is going to be an easy road for either of them?
I'm saying they're both going to be leaning back for a while, chilling for a bit. You know, they're like, we're finally home. And then it turns out there's a squatter in their house. The question is, who's the squatter and who's the homeowner? You know, that's what we're getting to.
Yeah. This is a comfort first pick usually for both of these teams. They're both very proficient on it. High win rates, very good success as well against other teams as well that are kind of on the cusp of tier 1. Same kind of region that I think everyone's kind of finding themselves in, especially with the high level of play coming out of the CIS region. They're a big contender and knocking a lot of these guys down. A lot more of these international European rosters are having some issues having matches up against them. And so having Dust2 in the back pocket is always nice. We talked about Big being high success rate teams or a team on this map when they were at the height of their stint in the sort of world rankings. They were number 1 for a while. Everyone was drawing from their play on Dust2 and just what they were implementing in the early stages. but some of the consistency is kind of tapered off. It's still a successful map for them, but they're seeing less success against the sort of top 30, top 15 teams as a result of that. So I think teams have adopted a lot of their play, and as a result of that, also they've met more resistance as a result of that as well.
I don't know, man. I still feel like I've got a bit of a soft spot in my heart for Big's Dust 2, and that particular one might be also because I'm a bit biased. Not because of Big, but because of the fact that it's Dust 2, and Big is basically the team, for anyone who's wondering. Big's a team that helped me really convince that Dust 2 could have tactical depth to it. Before that, Michael was a heretic. He was a non-believer. He thought, no, it's all about shooty, bang, bang. But Big definitely did manage to show a lot more than that. LDLC, however, are a team that is also known to have a lot of very interesting variations on traditional styles of play, coming in from a team culture that's really been ingrained into them from existence. And it was Alex continually trying things that are new, and you can see that in the kind of peaks and aggression that they like to go for. Maka in particular really shining out in that second map. Vertigo, a slightly quieter affair, but now if you're able to combine the Maka of map 2 and the Haji of map 1, then that is a brew that, well, Big Clan might end up choking down, but at the end of it all, gotta say, it's gonna be pretty damn tasty.
Yeah, not to mention as well the fact that we've seen them lean towards double AWP setups. I think that will be something that will be implemented through. We've seen Sixer have some good success, especially on that second map, had some really high impact rounds. I'm excited for it because I think we highlight the AWPers for LDLC. That puts even more pressure as well on Searson to perform. He can be very devastating on this map. Mirage, very similar in that regard. You hope to see a more alive and proactive Zentaris as well coming into the series, because I think we've seen a lot of good stuff from Tizian and Keto alike. You know, we see a lot of these big players kind of activating at different moments, but that consistency that Zentaris and Searson can provide has been somewhat absent.
And without them being present, it will be a lot harder to deal with. I mean, you saw that in map 2 as well. And look, I don't want to draw too much from Ancient as far as the form of the individual big players is concerned. I do not think that they were very well prepared for Ancient, despite a few cute things, a couple of nice utility throws. I said it then as well. I said now it did feel a little bit like, okay, these players have clearly bugged it a fair bit, but they don't have it all that well rehearsed. Now, though, we do peer in from a hole in the wall as LDLC will start things off with the T side. Lambert and Maka will be the ones sporting utility, but a double short boost coming out very quickly from Big as they look to gain mid control the faster way around.
Well, Xbox smoke down, and this short pressure could really run into LDLC. Seriously, the one-way.
That's going to be him revealed, though. Molotov in the corner. They know what he likes to do. Kios and Lambert both coming through with a quick few kills, and they read into the double short play. Are able to counter it out very nicely. Tizian with flashes all leaning outwards. He's also blinded himself, but now tagged up and brought down. Haji ducking away. He has saved himself for a while, but Zantares with 3 quick ones is going to prevent the ball from scaling upwards. Keto combines forces, and it is the Megazord of all shots to be hit. Maka, though, 2 quick headshots are not enough. The Glock, not the weapon you want to have at those ranges, but no USBs to be recovered. Now, one finally picked up. 2 players, both very low, but no bomb nearby. Maka has to go into their territory.
Knows he hasn't recovered it either. 4 kills between them, 10 HP. Maka really trying to test the waters. Keto spotted out, and Zentari still hiding. Oh, headshot offered.
Oh, he's jumped back. Maka's managed to clear it all out. Zantares might be forced to peek into this one. Maka's not revealing himself. Zantares is being toyed with right now. Maka reaping forward. Maka! What a shot from him. Comes through. He dinked 2, but it wasn't enough earlier on. Still needed to come through with a final little punch. And there he's got it. LDLC start off with a pistol win.
Another 1v2 added to the tally here for Maka, but Zentaris was on a heater. I thought he got the 4th kill as well, only for Keto to have stolen that one away. But all that damage, it certainly added up. They couldn't take fights. They couldn't be in exposed positions. Had to swing into remaining player. And LDLC have found the round that it was very hectic. Very well read as well in the early stages from LDLC. The fact they got into an early man advantage. Force buy here for Big. Tabson actually plucking out Lambert. Thought for sure they were ready for it, but still Tabson gets away with murder.
That shot. It's quite nifty.
Wait with it.
Chaos. Oh, trying to pre-fire out that scout. Knows that Saracens going to go for that for sure. There's one thing, you know, is going to come through. It is Saracens scout. LDLC is still pretty intent to challenge. Might not be the best of ideas. Maka to peek forward. Saracen to get the tag. Saracen re-peeking into them. So much damage dealt. And he's going to keep on going. A headshot into Pit as well. And LDLC will lose too many. Find just one. Now, Molotov down as well. It's Sixer to recover, but a nade to finish him off too. A smoke will keep Haji away, but he's using it as a one-way instead. 2 players to deal with. Tizian creeping backwards, crouching away, but oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Big off the back of Saracen Scout, despite it being spotted out towards long. LDLC try to push in, try to contest, but just can't be done.
We're not afraid of you. Until they were. And you know, tag after tag, you do start to get nervous. Looked at all that damage and kind of saw what was coming. LDLC, not the same foresight. Can respect it. Saracen once again landing tags on the scout. This time there isn't going to be proper weapons on the other side here for LDLC, seeing as how they were upset the last round. Saracen only needs like a pixel. He spots just a glimpse around that smoke. Another tag found. Chaos has crept into Pit.
It's like he's playing 8-bit Counter-Strike, you know? Where a pixel is still a huge amount of the body. But no. He is just like all of us. Just better. Keto, left alone on the B-bomb site, might be contested soon. As 4 players do box their way onwards. Keto's been given a bit more backup. Santaro's ready with a nade and a smoke in his pockets. And he'll start to chuck those out soon. The smoke is primed. The Deagle pushing up to short, and Saracen getting the kill reveals all their intentions. Grenade will stop the rush, but it's not coming in yet. LDLC are content with resetting and trying to find anything. Lambert's cleared out the mid elbow, but with no one there right now, doesn't mean there won't be anyone later. Tabson and Tizian coming through. Drop the bomb, and only 2 left.
It's not easy as you like. 5 kills, no deaths for Big in the 3rd round. Not going to fall victim to the pistols. So LDLC have to sit back. Let it go. Just for a moment. Good recovery here for Big, considering the loss in the pistol. It was a very close round, only for LDLC to crumble.
Oh, Kios is so
more damage
early on. No flashes. That's interesting. Late
they just have nothing. They have nothing.
I don't know what the late flash is about. I feel like the only reason why you...
CT's flash.
Where's a T-side flash?
Well.
I feel like the only reason why you go for a late T-side flash is if you're more afraid of the fact that, hey, maybe you don't want to give away information that you're coming long. But beyond that, it seems pretty meh.
A pretty uninspiring round, all things considered. Just run out long, see what you can do, and it wasn't really all too much. Just the 1 kill. Saracen aggro with the AWP off short.
Oh, but that's through the pole, and that means Kios has got a little bit more chance. And
he still wants it.
There's 4 players there, and he doesn't care. Flashbang goes overhead. Tabson peeking out from behind, and Maka catches him out. Maybe he should have cared. And Maka, well, he's already managed to find more ground over. Dantara's waiting for the boost up onto Xbox, but that's where you've got to keep an eye out for Keto as well. All the way back towards T-spawn. He's hightailing it over towards long, where Saracen is waiting. A shot is missed. Zantaras will be the only one to frag Saracen. Looked like those were a few sitters that he should have been able to get out. Zantaras keeps them away for a while longer. Not much HP to work with, but they're not firing back through the smoke, not wanting to reveal themselves, and Zantaras will use that perfectly. An op can be recovered, but they choose not to do so.
Big kills on the rotation there from Tizian as well. Kept them at bay, allowed Zentaris to get that secondary frag, just drawing so much more attention over. Yeah, a bit confused. And we saw the success of the scout there for Sirius. Thought we were going to get flashbacks, only with the gun that will finish off the job in one. Only for it to not hit anything. So, even with that, LDLC had a chance to breach the bomb site. Big keeping things under wraps. We can see as well they have solid protocols. We expect as much from them. Definitely trailblazers in making Dust 2 consistent. In fact, a lot of the LDLC stuff I expect we'll see on the CT side will have been inspired at one point or another by Big.
I don't know how much of the LDLC stuff we'll be able to see on the CT side, though, with how things are going. Even in this round, it looked like the only reason why they had an opportunity was because of Sursen's missed shots, and with a technical timeout from Big, might have been... I mean, I really doubt it, but might have been some of the reasons why.
Yeah,
as
my
well.
mouse was running out of battery.
Yeah, you know, guys, just the clicks weren't registering. That's totally why. My little brother was on my PC. That's the classic one, isn't it? But Sursen, we're in a boot camp. Of course, we don't have any of that. Oh!
See you later.
Maybe. At this point, Sixer might not want to show up anymore to the party.
Yeah, definitely some struggles to start this one off here for LDLC. They've been focused on long. Now a eye through middle.
Thompson flicks back down under. Could have been a nice kill to find, but instead... it just looks like you're setting up for 5 players kept alive. Flashbang as well goes in. Zentaris peeks out. And that's just another on the board for Big, who keep it going, keep it rolling.
Seems like the difficulties for Lambert will continue this series. He's had a rough showing. Not too much to draw from Dust 2, but those two maps, I don't remain too hopeful. Hopefully he can bounce back, be another element here for LDLC. Of course, they full buy coming into this for this T side. Aggression off of short as well. The flash blinding out Kios. No trade, but Lambert's found a gap through middle.
Well, that guy... Lambert also barely managed to dodge out a grenade. It looked like he might end up moving out into it, but it's safe for now. Zentaris over here and towards that B-bomb side, priming up a grenade. This could be so much damage. It goes straight in. Haji is tagged, and with that, a much easier opportunity. Zentaris flashbang goes out. He peeks in. That's the bomb dropped as well. Lambert's got to go back to recover. Sixer's position revealed. Zentaris still alive on this bomb site. Swings out wide backwards. Sixer will overwhelm and get 2 on top of it. Sursen, meanwhile, still blocked out from another AWP. That's over in mid. Maka playing with him. Shows him his rifle, shows him where he is, but will not peek.
Yeah, Maka can just AFK there because it's an awkward angle for Sirius to progress into, not to mention that Maka's called for backup. Shooting gallery. Oh, good read from Maka, though. The fact that Sirius wasn't still holding onto that line suspects a rotation, and Sirius loses the AWP for it. Good round there from LDLC, breaching that B bomb site, as well exploiting the fact that there is a solo player in middle. That was Lambert to instigate that fight. Very vulnerable B bomb site as a result of it, so they rounded out nicely. Keto opening things up down mid will be a nice way to start. Maka is aggressive by himself. Big weren't ready for it.
Looked like he should have been able to find that kill, but despite the fact that Big aren't ready for it, Maka with a missed shot. And that is one of the issues that Maka has, is that you've got to love his game sense. You've got to love his aggression, willingness to actually put himself into these positions, but he's still at the opportunity in his career where, you know, there can be some of these misses and opportunities where it looks like you shouldn't have permission to. Meanwhile, Tabson is dancing a very dangerous foxtrot.
Oh my god.
Oh, love this. But Maka is ready. Dear God, he is ready for that one.
Not gonna happen this time around. We won't be made to look like fools.
Well, mate. Okay.
Who's looking like a fool now?
A little bit. Tizian, though, he is here trying to spray transfer with the AUG, unable to do so. Molotov is well placed. Haji cannot move through that smoke. He doesn't have the HP to work with. Sixer, though, he's behind it. He might be able to find them. They're boosting upwards. They will be spotted out. Sixer's already on the bomb site.
Knows there's +1. The boost up, and okay, Zantara's tried to cancel the plant. Ultimately, a lost endeavor there for Big. LDLC very primed for some of these plays here from the CT side. As soon as that boost came through, Sirison was a goner. There's a gap in that smoke as well by Tabson.
Yeah, that was a big one, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, where things just get out of control, because he's that close sight contender. To die for free is not ideal. So it's pistols now for the CT side. LDLC could bridge the gap.
Oh, what's this coming out? Is this a CT?
I don't think that's really where that's supposed to land.
Listen, mate, that is a big brain A-drop. All right, listen. You say Dust2 doesn't have tactical depth. Look at these tactics coming out of here. You ever seen that short smoke before? It's revolutionary.
Never before.
Never before seen right here on ESEA Premier Season 37, guys. This is why you come here. Note it down for your bugs. Note it down. This is how you get to rank S, boys.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to land on that little one-way on short. I think that's prime real estate. It would be very slow blooming if it was with deep CT smoke. Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like it looked kind of 500 IQ and then divided by 100.
Hey. I never knew enough about division anyway. I'm just calling it a straight fire smoke for sure. Meanwhile, Keto find himself a quick kill. Keo's to be victim, of course. Where's the nurse found that? What? Such a true smoke over in B again. They've even dropped the bomb and they don't know that. Hachi had the bomb. They were setting up for a late round, maybe even a B split, but now Marka has to fight their way out. Tapson's going to peek forward. Marka again missing a shot, and there's been a few too many of those now.
Seems like that bomb was just around the corner, so Big haven't realized it, even though that smoke faded. But at 2-on-5, LDLC are going to have to make a lot out of a little. They've been brutalized. Lambert's low HP. Sixer's been a key frontman for them in a few of these rounds, so if there was anyone to do it, he's the man to look for an opener. 35 seconds now approaching here for LDLC. So much information. Tabson on the flank. Sixer gets spotted out, but he's not going to get punished for it. The bomb's rotating the other way.
But the flanker is being flanked, and Tabson finds Sixer early on. Lambert doesn't have much HP to work with either, so chucking out that Molotov is more asking for his own doom than that of Tabson. Needs to find the clean backstab. And speaking of clean backstab, Tabson is looking to clean up any blemishes he has left on his own backstab. Oh, Lambert's creeping past. He should be able to survive here, but will not find the kill. Tabson has run away a little bit too swiftly. What kind of shoes is he wearing? So fast.
No sponsors, of course.
Of course. I wish
But
we
they
had
are
shoe sponsors.
fast.
That would be pretty
Could you
cool if we had
imagine-
a shoe sponsor.
Could you imagine custom shoe skins?
Oh, that would be baller.
We would have to be able to see our feet, which would also just kind of break my brain.
In all fairness, I feel like I'm more than happy to stand like 8 meters away so you can see my feet as well. Alternatively, I'm also fine with like kind of putting my camera on the ground and pretending like it's my feet talking doing an analysis segment.
I wouldn't exclaim that you're willing to show people your feet on broadcast, to be honest.
Did you know that
Pay good money for that.
in season 33, hey, I didn't say it'll be on Twitch, okay? OnlyFans it is. In season 33, the producer back then, who was obviously, did not know I was going to do this for sure. He told me, yeah, but you're casting solo. Why don't you just go ahead and like pretend like you've got a sock puppet being your secondary analyst? And I did that. It was a bright pink sock puppet.
I think I've seen the clip. I think you might have shown
Really? Okay. Well, Sirson has seen Marka in mid, and turns out Sixer's seen Keto. Apparently seeing also means dying, and Xantares is killing right back, but the trades favor LDLC, at least as far as entering onto this B-bomb site, but Tabson's moved right past that smoke, drops himself and bomb, and it's only Kios left as the Molotov has made quick work of Lambert as well, but Kios has turned into a 1v1, and as he creeps past, does he realize that Tizzy's already
idea.
through the smoke? He's pulled out the AK, but it's not in time to make an adjustment. Big in a flurry of trades to end up winning out the round.
Yeah, some good counter utility there as well for the boost stuff outside of the B tunnels. Just ready for that play. The smoke as well thrown. It fakes out. You can see Haji trying to dodge it as if it's a flash, but put Keels in a very awkward position. That B bomb site has been maybe not a liability, but it's been breached fairly consistently. Small, tiny angle there for Maka to find the tag.
That is very important coming in, especially with how prolific Keto had been with the spam continually just putting up threats. But now,
I think that's the smoke that we were expected to see before. One that did fail.
Well, right now, Thurston. Molotov not spreading right to him. Santaris could be caught out with the flash in his hand, but there's Tabson right around the corner. Moccasin cannot peek forward because of Tabson's revelation, at least the position that he has shown up. Tizian, meanwhile, being tagged by his own captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Benanzi, he's peeking forward. Keto, he'll peek in, but he can't quite line it up. Needs to get a shot before he goes down, and at least it's a kill before the Haji Molotov forces into the Haji. Maya, still, trade's not really favoring out LDLC. It's only Maka left, still clustered around the B tunnel, and that's where Big will take it away. Despite a few successful B hits earlier on, seems like Big's really cleaned that part of the map up.
Tabson is tearing them apart.
Yeah, I just noticed that. He's doing pretty well.
He's been in all the right places. He's moving around the map. You know, he hasn't been locked down by positions. He's letting his other players do that. You hold on to A, you hold on to B. Just call for me, and I'll be there.
Oh, Surson. Speaking forward. How does he find Marcus with what? Mark even has a one-way advantage there with the Xbox smoke in a few regards, man. That's pretty nuts.
Hard rounds for LDLC. Big, really flexing their stuff. Lots of flashes. Still ready. A bombardment.
Oh.
You just hope that Big are blind on the other side. A bomb site seems to be the target. Tabson leaning on over.
Keto just primed that nade. They were so close to just being popped right open. Tabson ready with the Molotov. Flashbang is avoided. Keto with the first off shot. Re-peeking out again and again, but not quite getting the kills. It's Tabson to recover, leaning inwards against the off. Keels will fall, and Tabson does it all. 9-4, and Big are not here to play.
Star stuff here for Tabson. Just continually taking fights. Just the smoke. They have both been so sharp. I've seen a lot of really fast AWP shots. Love that. Zentaris throwing the flash for Tabson. It's perfect. 20 kills so far. LDLC really struggling, but Kios, it gets a nice kill in transition. Tabson plucked out of the round. That's a heavy hitter gone, but the AWPs are striking. Searson and Keto both finding kills.
Maka's trying to contest that AWP with an AK in mid. More than anything else, really just hoping that Haji can come over and find the kill from tunnel while he stays alive somehow. But with these players are split up as they are, and Maka having revealed his position to still be T-spawn, this will not be an easy round for LDLC to recover. They've at least got utility, but even that is going to be dwindling down as more and more Molotovs are deployed by Big as well.
I mean, they have to look to short control, and Tizian's here, has a smoke ready as well.
Oh, perfect timing, man. That's going to keep them away for so long. It even comes over to boost up Surson. Yeah, Surson even ducks out and repeats. That's insane. Just a slaying them. Over and short. Now, Sixer and Maka don't have much HP to work with. Good angles to be on. Solid positioning for them coming out. And as the smoke does end up going out, that's just to block out anyone who might have just hidden in car. Maka peeking forward, sees the players over in CT, but Zantaris is just clean. 1-on-2 for Sixer to try and find the fifth. It's not looking too easy for them. As Surson peeks up, Zantaris and Surson double peek him in such a strong angle as well. Dude, Big are just on a different level right now. Even when Tabson goes down at the beginning of the round, And he's 20-9, by the way, and he's the one who goes down. Xantares is not looking too bad either.
Yeah, they smell blood in the water, and this bear is hungry. Don't know why the bear is swimming, but
Bears actually
LDLC.
swim pretty well.
Do they hunt in the water?
Yeah,
Actually, they do.
Because they
Yeah,
can get
they
fish,
do.
you know?
Yeah, usually in rivers, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Like LDLC
You know-
looking like they've got the depth of a puddle right now, though, and that's a problem. That puddle is a puddle of blood around their feet. Just on a map known for water.
Yeah, worried for the Wolves. I think it's fair to say. LDLC not looking quite like themselves. Bigger, making them uncomfortable.
Oh, Tizian, from beyond the grave, he sends out a flying kiss in the form of a Molotov. Thompson, meanwhile, he's about to get over some kisses as well. Flashbang goes out right as the smoke is
Oh my
dissipating. And it
goodness.
is kissy time, boys. But we've got to go over to our second half after a short break. LDLC need to recover from that one. Thompson and Xantares so far, two names classic to 2018, but well, they're bringing it all the way back. The question is, can LDLC also bring out a bit of an older classic version, maybe from 2014 or so? I'll have to wait to find out as Kios waits for this B-sided push that seems inevitable to come through. The nade as well will tag him up just a little bit, but it's Marco who's getting the kills. The stack should pay out wonderfully, and with Kios finding one, Sixer can wide swing, and they clean it up without a single casualty. Great stuff from LDLC.
Yeah, that's the setup that they were kind of hoping to see, and straight away, it is exactly what they wanted. Big weren't ready for the close angles. Another pistol round where LDLC look very prepared for what Big have to offer in the round. Good enough for recovery. Hopefully it gives them some breathing room as well. Back-to-back pistols. Now one on this map. If they can dodge out losing in the second round.
Oh.
Deep nade. Decent
Yeah.
damage, but Zantara is... This is
He's
out in
holding
front of it.
enough. Yeah. Now, Maka's position could actually be pretty scary for him over here. If he's quickly 1D down, then this A bomb site only has Haji to defend, and without a Molotov, without an incendiary grenade, anything like that, it's very hard to actually reclaim the bomb site before the bomb can be planted. So, should be an interesting state of affairs. Sursen is watching for it, and that's what I'm talking about. Sursen, the adjustment is perfect. Haji as well now going down. Welcome to the scout land. Population depleting.
Not again, man. Not again. Winning the pistol and Searson being the instrumental figure in doing the damage. This time finishing off all of the kills. He's got 3 with the scout. LDLC have been completely torn apart by the scope rifle here of Big. And it's looking like number 12. They can't do anything.
Do you think that he can articulate why he's so good on the scout? Like, do you think there's like some sort of secret reason, or he's just like, I don't know, man, I was born with it.
See head, shoot head?
Yeah,
Seems simple enough.
Yeah. And
I
they're
think we've
still
seen-
hunting, man. They might actually be able to
Yeah.
find him out. Sixer does get 1, but that's where Lambert has to step up. Now, Lambert revealing himself, but Zantaris comes through with 2. And that is as bad as it gets. Bombasses and M4A1 recovered too. So it's not even like you're taking forward MP9s. You're really looting the finest of the bunch.
Yeah, they min-maxed that as well towards the end. They got every single rifle that was brought forward into the round for LDLC. Even swapping out the scout set has bought back for Searson. You can see why. Sixer's been tagged. They're trying to take these fights, and there's a taste of your own medicine.
The king is dead. Long live the king. But Sixer is not really living in too healthy times. Lambert now nestled away next to the blue bins. Will have a chance, but Keto has been destroyed over here. Lambert, sure, there is a nice little response, but that shot was, ooh, chef's kiss.
Ay, ay, ay. What is going on? Right, Maka, impression time. See if he can punish. Missed on the first. Bigger closing the ground quick. There's a tag on the cross though. Zantara is already down to 30. Bomb can go down relatively safely though. LDLC not able to contest too fast. Short control for Kios. He's got a smoke primed.
Oh, kills should be able to peek out soon. Right into them. Problem. Actually, we can talk about that in a second because flashbangs are still going forward. Keels is waiting for them to peek, but he's instead waiting for the flank to come in. It's Tabson with a Fabas. He's all the way through. Tizian spot time as well. Tabson, he could go for the knife. He's gonna go for it. Even misses for 1, but he's still got time to clean it up. Maka, Maka, Maka. Not a good look, baby.
The shot from Lambert was ridiculous. He has had some difficulties this series, so that's a bit of flair, but LDLC have been on the rougher side of a lot of these 50-50s. It's a shooting gallery down mid. They want to deal with Searson, but he's just plucking them out. There's reinforcements coming. Cavalry's here. 14 for Big. This is looking like an open and shut case.
It's a murder mystery. That is for sure, but LDLC cannot puzzle through. No kits on LDLC. Very little utility, not a single incendiary. They are going to need to get aggressive. And Kios, well, he's hoping to maybe intercept once again. Kios is waiting. Rotations being called back by him. Grenade is shot forward. Does do some decent damage yet again. Zantara is brought down exactly to 71 HP.
I don't even know what the solution is here for LDLC. Long control will be nice, but bigger clustering. Primed for this A side take. Looks ready, and nobody's looked for information here on that LDLC side. Maka locking down long is nice. Haji trying to be that man to put a pin in this.
Oh, Haji's got to find them all, though, but he's not able to quite clean them up, Haji! He was so good earlier on, but it's all fallen apart now. The A bomb side is theirs, Maka. Sure, you can find one, but what else is there to find? Surson? Okay, Maka's made it possible. Kios boosting himself up, but it's Tizian to win the duel. Tabson to add another. Maka forcing him back with a Molotov, but he's forced him straight into Lambert. Xantares now left in a 1 versus 2. It's suddenly looking so much more doable, but with the smoke primed up, he will be able to buy so much more time. Flashbang out as well. They're going for the defuse. Xantares pushes through. He's good for 1, but not for 2, and with that, Maka saves around, gets him to 6. With 3 kills for him on the retake.
Man, I thought we were destined for another history lesson. Biggest whiffers strikes again. And it looked, that could have been a moment where Big just finished off the job. They've really been dominant this game. And to see it come down to the wire like that, LDLC, I mean, you'd have to be shook. This is a confident map for you, very typically.
Oh my god!
Okay, that's a nice way to go about things.
Oh!
We've seen some ridiculous shots this map.
I don't normally sheesh, but...
Sheesh.
Oh, there's a boost coming again. Tapson's got a Krieg as well. But no one really to find here. Lambert's playing from elevator. No one on the bomb site. It's Maka who's been elevated. And as they peek out, Lambert is spotted. Lambert will go down. They know what he was up to. That position's only good for one thing, and Maka's been boosted up to gang up, and over he goes. Flames at his toes, but head has been rolling. Six has got to come through to try and save it all, but Tabson's found the flank as well. Haji distracted temporarily, and that distraction turns into a call to save. Sixer backing off, Haji moving forward. This is miscommunication at its finest, and well, Sixer will be punished because of his cowardice. How dare you? How dare you turn tail and run, Sixer? Double peek to come in, and Xantares to finish things off. Off with his head.
I don't think that was a miscommunication. It's just one of those positions where you are in a 2 versus 4, but you're so far behind that you kind of have to die trying. It feels like, because going for the save, I mean, getting 9 in a row when you've been brutalized so hard on this map, I don't think it's feasible. I mean, you'd have to be a really, really optimistic team, which I don't know. LDLC, I think they were going for a realistic standpoint. Maybe win the 2 versus 4, try and upset, but...
I feel like they might be an optimistic team. The problem is, it's not like the game will just suddenly warp its way into existence, you know? This isn't some Steve Jobs reality bending stuff that we've got going on for ourselves. The force field isn't quite on yet. And not completely taken. Six has got a scout from Car. I mean, Kios as well could maybe cut off Tizian, but Tizian with that kind of HP, he's not going to be looking to push.
Clearing B is nice. So they can stack A.
Oh, they're going to be caught out. Haji's forced forward because of the Molotov. He's not been spotted out yet, but now Surson knows where he is. Haji's got 2, but not quite 3. That's where Maka, his position becomes crucial.
He can spot the
bomb is in a position where Maka can shut them down very quickly, but they are not quite revealing themselves just yet. Tabson finally does so, but Maka cannot get the headshot. Tizian should know where they're coming from, but he doesn't quite check it. Kios peeks up for another one. Tabson now 1 on 3. Needs to get 4 this round. Has got a Krieg. There are no Molotovs to displace him. Got to bring them all down 1 by 1. Flashbang doesn't do anything. Single tap comes out. There's a smoke to hide Kios, and that's all he needs. LDLC push themselves forward to a 7th round, and maybe it's time to, maybe it's time to look for half empty / full glasses.
Tabson is so over this series.
Yeah.
32 kills. That one, when he hit the first shot in the 1v3, I thought he was just gonna win it. As that was ridiculous. Even with all these advantages that LDLC had, they fully pushed B. They even get away with Haji getting the double kill in middle. It's still a very contestable round there for Big. And that has to have you worried. Oh, okay. The shots don't quite send the gun over to Searson, so he'll miss the timing. Surely he doesn't go for this. You're gonna get here so late. Yeah. The fact that he gets flashed off the angle, I think, is actually a blessing, because LDLC were kind of ready to double swing into it. There's still a path, right? There's still the chance. We've seen comebacks like it, but gonna need some really solid stuff. That is perfect. Here's the sound cue, and that's all he needs to pull the trigger.
Oh, he was ready for it as well. That's exactly what he was waiting for. Oh, Maka. Trying out his heart and soul. He's also the only player who is keeping an eye out on mid right now, but I don't know what that Molotov's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's supposed to go deeper.
Bounce off a little bit further, but yeah. That's big
Didn't
gap
quite
in
clear
the
the
corner.
cubby.
Indeed. There are two players here, and that is the power of the MP9. The higher fire rate comes out on top as Tizian couldn't quite get the spray in. Markov, flashbang will not be affecting him, can't get the spray, the flick rather, down fast enough, and Zantares has managed to find a timing and ducking away. He's attempting to go for it. Zantares just turned around for a second. There may be a flashbang that he's worried about when Thompson comes in from the flank. He's got one, he's got two. He can't quite finish it off. Maka's not ready. He does get the kill, but it's been enough to buy Searson time for the 1v2 to be set up.
Oh yeah, you can really think about this one. Bomb planted and can go for an advanced peek. Has the ult for it. These long sight lines. Nobody from LDLC has the range for this one. Doubling spawn would be a death sentence. So going short does buy them a bit more sanctuary. They are so worried about where Searson could be.
Well, for good reason, because he's right where they're not expecting him. Six is already down, and Searson heard the shot being fired, so he knows that Kios is also positioned inside mid. Now just has to hold for a single angle. The backpack is shown, and Searson will triumph, comes out on top, and does so perfectly. It is a clean Dust 2 for Big, and despite a couple of hurdles faced in Ancient, they are able to really take it home.